Hey everyone. Woo! Welcome to this week's episode 66 of Press Any Key.
66.
I'm your host, Pat Naparano. With me as always are my hosts, Dan Kilkenny, Mike Burke,
hello,
and Nick Haberstro on the ones and twos this week. Jess is not here.
Shouts out to Jess, though.
Shouts out to Jess. How'd she go? Because Nick went in a blaze of glory last week.
and Jess went out on her own terms.
She did.
That's what it is.
She did.
It's
Yeah.
her
She did
own
the whole
terms.
like
You
fake
can't
her
corner the donor.
death. She's the fake her death, go to Cuba kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. But she's still posting on her social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's like
you know.
in memoriam.
So, this week, everybody, we are strictly talking about the new Batman movie.
About Euphoria.
About
We are 2
I
weeks
got
delayed.
a lot to say.
we are strictly talking about the Batman. If you want to stick around, we're going to do non-spoilers first, spoilers. I have some tweets. I got a history lesson on how this project even came to be. And then I have a segment called Bat Rivia. Okay, for some Batman trivia and like
trivia?
what we can expect from the future from this franchise. Either way, though, if you're here, if you're giving us a pity click and you've lasted this far, go see this fucking movie. Okay, like don't even watch the rest of this. Go watch that and don't come back here because you don't need to.
But we thank you for your pity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we have at this
Yeah,
point. That's keeping
and,
us going.
and with that,
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Pitifully.
And, you can find us anywhere, pressanykey.tv. That being said, we can start with non-spoilers of the Batman.
Batman.
It was
So
good.
Well, we'll give every.
I just have this. So I saw this first on Tuesday night at the fan preview screening. I saw
It's
this.
a fan preview screen.
I saw that's what they call it,
Oh,
like fan
okay.
preview premiere
Okay.
or
Just
whatever.
rub it in our face.
That's the.
We're apparently
I
not
saw
fans.
it, and then we saw it on Wednesday at the AMC Investors screening.
The AMC timeshare screening.
Yep.
I love that bullshit.
And then
In a Dolby
I
theater,
saw
though.
it Saturday again in IMAX, and originally my original thought coming out of it was this is like a 9 out of 10. After seeing it 2 more times, this is easily one of the best comic book movies ever made.
It's
this
fantastic.
is phenomenal.
The one time that I saw it, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Look, I didn't need to see it more than once. That's all I got.
I took it and I was like, I don't need anything else to know that
Yeah.
this was a great movie.
But you said you do want to watch this again, but you're gonna wait till it comes to HBO
I'm gonna wait
Max.
for it to come to HBO Max.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for it again. I will wait until it comes out. However, I do feel like I'm gonna miss because we saw it in a Dolby theater where that sound is unlike anything any other movie theater can come close to.
Are you
And so-
sponsored? Like, what the fuck's going on?
So
here?
What are you, Nicole Kidman?
Dolby.
Heartbreak
Does
feels
Heartbreak
good here,
feel
Dan.
good?
But either or, I mean, I feel like it will never be the same way because every single punch or loud noise in that movie just runs through the entire theater, and you feel it in the seats.
And
It
right
was
out the back door
unbelievable.
if you're John Sagendorf,
Yeah.
because I could
He
taste
farted
his farts
the whole time
through my mask.
You shouldn't have fed him beforehand.
That's a war
That
crime.
was your
That
fault.
is a war crime.
It is. But yeah, I think this is absolutely phenomenal. Non spoilers, like so cast. I just have Bobby Patterson,
Batty bat.
Robert Pattinson absolutely destroys in
Very,
this
very
movie.
good.
Every single scene he's in, he's just fucking unbelievable.
His take on Batman.
On back, I am
Batman.
Bobby Patterson as Batman.
His take on Batman. Said it again.
All right,
He did
Dan,
good.
no more. Take a
He
lap.
did good. And I just want to say, for the record, I never had any doubts. I said every single time that his Batman was going to be fucking awesome. I said it since the moment they cast him. You need a nuanced performer. Somebody who could deliver a nuanced performance to be Batman Bruce Wayne.
Do we have proof to back this up? You
Dude,
said this?
We do.
there's-
He's been saying
There's
this
no
for years.
fucking
Really?
way
I don't
that it
remember this.
didn't end up on this show that I've been saying Robert Pattinson.
Let's go back
would
and
be
watch.
great. Yeah,
Go
comb
run the
through
tape.
hundreds of
Run the
hours.
tape.
We'll wait.
Zoe Kravitz. I think she's a great Catwoman.
Yeah.
I think
Fantastic.
she's
Very
awesome.
good.
She's a very good Selena Kyle.
She
Colin-
drank milk like a cat to prep for the role.
yeah.
I did see
Oh,
those
yeah.
pictures. Did you see that?
That was
what I showed you
weird.
yesterday.
Yeah, that was
I saw
weird.
her, she did it in the movie. She
Well, she drank a glass of milk in the movie. She lapped up like a bowl of milk.
I did not see
You did
that.
not see that? Yeah, it's
There's,
wild.
there's some like
But I will be going
black
home and
white-
looking it up.
Check them out.
Colin Farrell absolutely steals the show as a Penguin,
Mm-hmm.
and he's absolutely unbelievable. Like I think he shines over everyone else
Yeah.
in the entire cast.
His like weird accent that he was putting
Straight
on.
up from New York.
Yep,
Yeah.
the New York like 1940s accent that he had, and then the prosthetics department.
Oh my
Shouts
god,
out to
the
them.
makeup was incredible.
I
So
think
good.
he gave like a Gary Oldman level performance of like a character actor in that way.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. He was awesome. Jeffrey Wright, I think he's really good too, but I don't think there's any real like standout moments from him.
No,
But either
Good.
everybody in this cast is great.
Yeah.
But my two, I guess you could say the ones I like that didn't, I guess like jazz me up the right ways were because I don't want to
Get
say
me
they're
going.
bad. I don't want to say they're bad.
Didn't hit how they should.
Like everybody's talking about Zoe Kravitz. I think she was, she was great, but I don't think she was anything better than like Bobby Patterson,
my God.
Bobby Pats.
Bobby Pats, or especially like Colin Farrell or Paul Dano for that matter.
I was wondering when
Yeah.
you're going to get to Paul
Yeah.
Dano.
Yeah.
He's like literally the star of the whole movie.
100, yeah. Like,
Yeah, he's
I have thoughts on that, but yeah,
knockout
Yeah.
performance.
It was
He's
he
great.
was really good. for the
John
most part.
Turturro,
He was great.
also great.
Also
Did not
very good.
expect that.
Yeah,
I forgot
had no
he was
idea,
in it.
I
Did
had no
not
idea
expect.
he was in the movie. And also, like John Turturro can also play like super campy, overdone characters. This one,
Really?
he played a pretty straightforward Falcone. It was really good.
I was trying to think of Alexis was like, what is John Turturro in? I was the only example I could think of was like, Mr. Deeds.
Never underestimate the sneakiness. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
stab my foot.
Jesus and the Big Lebowski.
Yes, that was my
stab
number two.
my foot. That's
Oh,
right.
you're sick. You're not. Just kidding. I can't feel any of that.
Yeah. So Paul Dano's great. John Turturro's great. Andy Serkis for his limited amount of screen time.
Yeah, for his 5 minutes
He
of
is
screen
good.
time, he was very
fine.
good.
He's good.
He was for me like the hardest sell leading up to this. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but I thought he really embodied the role really well. I just wish he was given more to do other than open mail.
Like open mail, and also like his one contribution to like the investigation, it was very much like he was bored and he just started looking at all the clues that Batman
He's
had.
got a shit. He's got a shit to take.
He's got
now.
a shit.
He's got shit to do, bro. They live in Dumbledore's old fucking office. All right,
with a housekeeper who that's a new character.
dude.
that now
Shouts
we
out
have
to
a
Dory.
housekeeper.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
Dory
Dory.
is accepted in the Batman canon.
I had no idea who she was, but I didn't not like her. I was just like, oh, there's a third person that's
It's
in
a
the house,
goddamn
which is
manor.
cool.
You'd think there's full of it.
There's
It's
of
not
course there's a
just
whole. Well,
Alfred,
it's
yeah.
Alfred runs the staff. Is pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And
He's the head
you know,
guy.
staff are
Yeah.
meant to be, seen, not
HBIC,
heard.
head butler in charge.
Yeah, head
How-
butler
How do
in
you think the
charge.
rest of them feel? It was like they all work for the Waynes, but Alfred, it's like, okay, you're now our son's surrogate father, and you're in control of all of our finances and our business, dealings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of them are
pretty
like,
much.
fuck Thomas Wayne.
No, they're like they're fine. They're like, I'm just over here sweeping and dusting old ass things that have not been touched in 20
I
years.
have my own wing
I
of
get
the
a
mansion.
pension. I got, like we're in a union.
I got a pension.
Like we have
I got
good jobs.
Exactly. I'm comfortable with this right now.
We can get into a little bit more of their relationship later, but I'm just talking about cast right now overall.
Just
like
in
Alfred,
general,
yeah.
yeah.
Andy Serkis.
For the-
Everybody's good across the
Yeah,
board.
Yeah.
Some more than others, but nobody turned in a bad performance.
No, like even like Jeffrey Wright, like I feel like he just delivered a pretty straightforward Gordon.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it. It
Yeah.
was just he was Commissioner
Okay,
Gordon.
all right, so non spoilers. Story.
I just
Dory?
Absolute Dory.
or
Full of twists, but I don't think it's a challenge to follow because I
No.
think the writing is really fucking good.
yeah. It's
was-
a mystery the
I
whole
was
time.
thinking
but-
about Uncharted when I was putting
That's
this
fair.
together.
I'm sorry.
And you remember how I said
Sorry.
at the very least Uncharted fails as a treasure hunting movie because the
Yeah.
treasure hunting absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
Even if this wasn't a Batman movie, it could still succeed as like a murder mystery thriller movie because the actual mystery is good. Like
Yeah.
I was invested in the clues and trying to figure shit out beforehand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
and
have
it
a
wasn't
different
just
take.
it wasn't just Batman. They gave Batman the riddle and he just had the answer immediately.
That's
like
exactly
he had
what
to
it
think
was.
about
That
it.
is
There was a
exactly
couple
what
times.
happened.
There were a
That's
couple
exactly-
times.
What are you talking about?
He didn't have. He
El
always
Rada
had,
Alada.
he
Like
had the
That-
answer to the
besides-
riddle, but he
besides-
didn't always have what the answer really meant.
No,
But-
that was my of the riddles. Let me go back a little bit.
you're really not as smart as I thought you were.
I'll go back a little bit. I definitely like the whole tenor and the story. It felt like an Arkham game where it felt like you were there with Batman, trying to explore, trying to learn, trying to do all of these things.
Yes, the world is built out.
The world
very
is built
well.
out, and that's super cool. It also felt like the bit of criticism I had. It was like it felt a lot like Seven, and it felt like Saw.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what they.
that's
That's,
exactly
what
what
they were
that-
inspired
No,
by.
that was what I was thinking of the whole
understand,
time.
But I couldn't help compare, and I was like, I feel both of those movies took the elements that Batman was inspired by, and they had done it better. Like Batman didn't live up to its inspirations in those kind of contexts, but I did really appreciate it being a horror slasher type more kind of movie as opposed to like the what we could have expected from like an Avengers level of big bombastic superhero.
Did you think that's what this was gonna be? I'm just curious.
Well, I didn't know what it was going to be. I was curious as to if they were going to do more of like a Dark Knight, which is like, very big timpani drums,
Hyper stylized.
hyper stylized, and this was a lot more subtle, which I didn't
It was grounded.
It was grounded.
It was
Which
a
I
grounded
didn't think-
movie.
initially my reaction was kind of like, well shit, like I kind of want like a big Batman movie.
You wanted the big bombastic.
But as
Batman.
I've sat with this more and more,
BBB.
I've come to like really appreciate how it's been laid out, how it's been put together. My criticism, like with the A and B plot, without like kind of like spoiling a lot of it, that got a little bit janky at some
Okay.
points, and I felt that was kind of like lost a thread at some elements.
Mike,
Okay.
I want to ask, what do you mean by A and B plot? Like, is
Without
B plot? I'm not
spoiling
spoiling anything. Is that seawall stuff, or is that? Or are you not even counting that as part of it?
I'm
Like,
talking like
no, that's a plot. That
I feel like it's all A plot.
It's all-
I
No,
can't
it-
different.
it-
It's
so-
so,
so-
seamlessly
so-
weaved
I think some,
together.
some of the
I'm-
Catwoman
look-
stuff was a little B plot.
that. Yes, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like I'm gonna approach it as like A plot more Riddler, B plot more Penguin,
Falcone.
Falcone, Penguin, etc.
Which I kind of agree. I have some thoughts on the Falcone.
I think
stuff,
I think
yeah.
it was interweaved very well, but I think there were a lot of points where I almost forgot what was going on in the other plot, and not
Okay.
not in a way where it was like intended to be like we're deceiving you or trying to get you away from that, so something could surprise you, except for like one pivotal point. But
I think the biggest victory from this movie is that it kind of sets the stage for smaller scale plots rather than the big, huge, bombastic Avengers where it's galaxy level changing events.
Right.
It's just it's in a city. It's a real life villain, and we can kind of reset the stakes of what a superhero movie is in the 21st century.
it was
I like that. I like that
tense
take
as
on it.
shit. This whole movie was so good, and so like there was not any 5 minutes of the movie that I was just not like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna it was all of that.
It was
And
gripping.
That was
And
so enthralling.
there wasn't-
for 3 hours.
You clenched your cheeks the entire
entire
time.
time.
I felt like also like especially with piggyback off what you were saying, Nick, how like we reset the stakes of what a superhero movie is. I feel like that's reinforced by the setting of Gotham City itself is an actual living, breathing character.
Yeah.
Like the world in this movie is built so well from the very beginning that you believe that these characters like live in this world. Like
Yeah.
I believe that that this Batman exists in another timeline.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never felt like that after leaving a Batman movie
Can I
because
ask you, how does this compare to Dark Knight's Gotham?
I was just about to say that I kind of feel like
Separate,
I
like,
kind of
so-
feel
Separate,
like
but have
like
you-
I don't want to do the fucking let's
Right.
compare game the
One-to-one.
whole show.
Yeah.
But
no.
like I
This
will
is a
say
very
this.
different movie.
I liked this representation of Gotham a little bit better than the Nolan movies because the Nolan movies, besides for Batman Begins, are just Chicago and Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't dress it
Yeah,
up
yeah.
at all, which is fine because that's his style. It works for those movies. But like this was like, let's just turn Camden up to 11. You know?
Yeah. No,
you know?
exactly.
And like that's where Gotham is supposed to be
Yep.
in South New Jersey.
Shout out New
Yes,
Jersey.
Canonically.
I never knew that.
Yep.
I never knew that's where it was. But like also like even when you get like those outside shots of like Wayne Manor and you look at that like architecture, the architecture all felt really gothic. It felt like it was its own city. Unlike what you were saying, Chicago, New York, and then like Pittsburgh for Dark Knight
but not
Rises,
to the
where
same
it's just
extreme as like the Burton movies where it's like super over the top campy.
Hyper.
It's
Yeah.
like a nice sweet spot right in the middle.
I think Pat,
Yeah.
you said it really, really well. Where it's like they made Gotham a character
Yes.
in this
Yep.
film, and I love that it does throw us into that pre-existing universe. Like it took a lot of like 0-year Batman stuff. It felt so much more comic inspired, than movie inspired.
Right.
And I love
so piggybacking off of that, what I think is even more of a testament to the character of Batman, because personally, like, listen, I think that comic books are essential to American literature, especially in the modern age. And I think that some of these characters that have been created are some of the greatest literary characters that we have. Mm-hmm. If this movie doesn't solidify that Batman is one of those characters, I don't know what else to point towards for that. And the reason I say that is because Batman is a character in a world that you can tell stories without relevant stories about our politics, about our society, without changing the mythos at all.
Yeah.
They told a story that was relevant about our politics, our day-to-day life, and it was a superhero thriller murder mystery inspired by Seven and Saw.
Yeah.
The fact that these things go so well together and they come out on the other side of the meat grinder and you get this is absolutely unbelievable. You know what I'm like? I can't express enough how fucking good this came out and how like I love The Dark Knight, but now when somebody asks me what Batman movie should I check out, this will be what I point to.
Number one.
If you really want to showcase who Batman really is, who Batman actually is, this is it.
Now listen, I get why people don't, because there are people who do not like this movie. And now listen, the reasons aren't
shut the
for
front
that they
door.
don't say that it's a good movie. They say that they just don't like that take on Batman, which is
That's fine. That's a
because
fair opinion to have.
this is a super specific lane of Batman
Yeah.
that they are pulling from. They are pulling specifically from Year One, No Man's Land, and Long Halloween.
Long Halloween, yeah.
They're specifically pulling from those three books, and those three books are straight up Detective Batman.
Yeah, which that's what this movie is.
Right.
Like we were talking about with it being Seven, this is a detective movie.
Right.
This is showcasing Batman's intelligence
and
less
young
so
Batman's intelligence.
Yes,
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
he is not yet the experienced, like,
Exactly.
I am the best detective in the
Yeah.
world. He's
the
still
best detective
learning.
in the world, but also just learning how to use some of his utility
Like,
that
you
he
see him
has.
get the shit kicked out of him.
Exactly.
Well, that's- well,
and you
I
see,
also-
go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Dan.
No.
The one thing I just wanted to say is I think it's really cool that it's finally going back to the origin of where Batman comes from, out of the like early 2030s, 40s noir detective
Yes.
comic books,
Yeah.
which is an interpretation we haven't seen in ages, at
Right.
least on a big screen.
Yeah, and like hardly ever do you like again where it's not such a big superhero movie. You hardly see him like standing on the edge of a building, like looking down over the city. No, he's in alleyways. He's just hiding in the dark, and even like some of the utility that he uses, like the grapple gun or like his squirrel suit, he doesn't even know how to really use it.
I know,
like
clearly.
he's clumsy
Yeah.
with it. But what he has is he knows how to beat the shit out of people, and he has his intelligence.
take
So
a punch,
I feel like that's kind of why people are a little bit upset, because listen, Batman in every representation of Batman is always nice. Like there's never a moment where Batman doesn't have the upper hand if he doesn't have enough time to prepare. That's always how
That's
it's
his
been.
thing.
That's like
his
his thing. Is
As
that
long as
he will
knows what he's getting
outthink
into.
you in
Yeah.
the long run.
Yeah.
And like when I first saw the movie, no spoilers, obviously. When I first saw the movie, I actually had a hard time getting into it for the first 40 to like minutes to an hour because I wasn't sold on this version of Batman, because my favorite version of Batman is the Batman that he doesn't get hit. He doesn't get shot. He picks people off silently first and then finishes off the rest like all nice.
Stealth archer.
Yes.
Stealth archer.
Stealth archer build Batman, yes. And like who's always got like a gat or a motorcycle that drives up a wall
gat.
and turns
Or
around.
like-
you know?
like-
Yeah,
when
has a button and then it's like boom, it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
he's,
like-
he's always he has bombs placed in just the right spots.
Yeah, or like-
even like in the Arkham games, like every time I play those, I'm
gel.
in the shadows and I'm always picking people off. I don't get on the ground and start fighting people really.
Yeah. And this movie showcased the realistic practicality of using a batarang because you would murder someone if you threw a boomerang at their head.
I think
yeah.
this for me was some of the best tech I've ever seen from a Batman. Not only just the gadgets, but when you get to the Batcave, you know, like the computers and everything, it feels like Batman the Animated Series, and it doesn't look like a regular computer. It looks like something he made himself, and it's so cool.
I love his mixer when he turns down Nirvana and then he turns up his parents' death reel. You know what I mean?
He's got two settings.
But I have a whole section in here on his utility belt. Like,
we'll get to it. So the last thing I want to mention. Oh, okay. Actually, there is one more thing before we move on to because I actually have a cinematography section on this. Honestly, there was some pretty organic stopping points that they kept going past.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say that's my only criticism is that they could have ended
4 times.
4 times. Yeah, like 3 or 4 times before the credits actually rolled.
Yeah.
But I'm happy it took its time because this whole film is meticulously slow and deliberate.
This movie took its time the entire time.
Yeah.
The whole movie was taking
So
its
why
time.
would it rush the ending?
Exactly.
Right.
You know?
But like to that point, it's
This
like
movie is edging.
it is edging. I feel like it did not
No,
need.
no, I was bussing the entire time.
I feel it did like it's interesting. This is gonna sound super, contradictory. I think it did not need to be 3 hours, but it could not have done what it did without being 3 hours.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said.
Like I feel like there was a certain part that they could have done away with, quite frankly, which we can talk about. Where that could have maybe chopped a little time off, but
A minuscule amount of time. I feel like
in the grand scheme of
I
3
feel
hours.
like I feel like there was a lot of shots that hung a little bit too long,
Yeah.
and there was a
that's
lot of really long wide shots
Yeah.
that like you could trim at least like a couple, because you start trimming seconds off these.
And
all of
that
a
adds
sudden
up.
you got
But
10
all of a
minutes
sudden
off the
it's the
movie.
thing.
You
I
know,
think
Gone.
it needed those to maintain the
Yep.
tension of it. Like there were things where it was like
them
that's
driving away at the end though did
That was that was one of the
he
things.
was looking away a long time.
The end
That
of
is
the
true.
movie. The end of the movie, they basically were like, we have 4 different endings. I'm just gonna put them back to back.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Yeah.
it's all the different stories ending. And the last one, which I guess you don't realize until the very last scene of the movie, like how much those two characters care about each other.
Yeah.
And like I didn't realize until the third time watching it that that's actually them parting ways. Like
Yes.
they're not
Oh,
working
yeah.
together
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah.
It took you 3 times to
very
realize that.
literal. Very literal.
Well, you got to remember, I walked in with the knowledge knowing that both these actors signed up for 3 movies. So like she's going to come back for the second one. It's a moot plot point, you know?
Bro, spoilers.
The one thing I just wanted to
chill.
point out, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but the shot that lingered, like that my brain processed how long the scene is lingering, where he's reaching into the top of the cage.
Yes.
I was like, wow, this is so long.
Yeah, which is like weird because any other director would have been like,
Yep.
this one's not a rat. And then it would have just cut to him standing up, taking the, the
Yep.
full.
With that, I think it's kind of like the whole, like I'm saying, with the whole tension. It's like as he's reaching in there, you're like, it's like Saw in my brain. It's
Yep.
like, is something just gonna clamp his hand? Or
Yeah.
like,
No, see,
is-
I
is it
never
gonna bite him?
thought
time
that.
was that. I was
Never.
like, if he
You weren't
accidentally,
thinking
like,
it consciously, but
Yeah.
your brain was.
if he like
No.
goes and he takes the thing off the top of the cage, does that flip a trigger?
Yeah,
or something?
make-
Here,
it's a
blows
trap.
up
Up
a bunch
until
of
this
shit.
point, he
That's
got
what I was
all those
thinking, too.
cards unharmed. I was
But
like,
there's always been
You
a
never know.
consequence
They can switch it.
around the card.
so
He's a Riddler. He's not a straightforwarder.
at a boy named
damn.
Not a sharp
I guess you're
shooter.
right.
So,
Okay,
wait,
so
can I say my one other criticism with it before going?
Well,
into all
if
the
you
spoilers?
do, I'm going to give you one.
yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
okay, go ahead.
I think there were points that tried to make emotional elements and emotional like I think there were points that tried to have an emotional feel that did not hit, and like didn't hit super well or in the way that they intended.
Does one of them have to do with Alfred?
That's a big one.
Okay.
And that one, like, that's my key example for. I think that happened.
I mean,
3
fair
or
enough.
4
Upon
times.
further review, that plot point is pretty much just like it starts here and it starts in one scene and it ends in the next. And I hope you guys know that in between there, somebody was directing Venom 2.
Oh God.
And that's why there's probably not any more.
Right. I feel like that's the shining example for it, Nick. And then there were 2 or 3 other ones where that happened, and I was just like, this is supposed to be a big emotional moment, but I'm not invested in it.
So my non-spoiler complaint is that at multiple times, Selena Kyle was wearing gloves, but she also had big, long fingernails. And I'm like, come on, man, just cut the fingertips off.
That's such a great point. That's such a great point.
Mike, it was a great movie. That's my big complaint.
That's so funny.
I have one other
That
complaint,
is
but
a
it'll
very
spoil.
realistic thing, though.
It was a stupid oversight.
Yeah.
Do you want to do final
Well, I still
reviews
have
before-
some.
Okay, go ahead.
Mike's like, I'm sorry.
I'm just.
I still have 18
so I think
non-spoilery talking
So
points.
I think this is important to mention because this movie is the cinematography and the production design is absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking like every single shot is a painting. Like there is not one uninteresting shot in the whole fucking movie. Everything is beautiful. The color palette, the lighting
is great.
All of the costumes look amazing. I mean, like, look at fucking Colin Farrell. The makeup on him is unbelievable.
Do you know if they filmed any of it like actually on film as opposed to digital? 'Cause
I-
it
okay.
looks like it.
So
for a lot of it.
Here's
Yeah.
what they did. They shot it on digital. They converted it to film. They dipped it in whatever.
Yeah.
And then they reconverted it back to digital.
'Cause
Back to
so
digital so
much
they
of
can
it-
work with those
so
files.
much of it-
Digital.
We'll get into it later. It's like I feel so much of it also like, and I know I talked about this in the trailer that we talked about before, but I was like, this looks like The Godfather.
I agree, but there's also way too much information
But
in the
there's
shots.
way too much shit going on for it to be. Yeah.
Like there's just too much actual
Yes,
like stuff the camera
God,
is
it was
seeing.
a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
beautiful people.
Of course.
it's true.
Very beautiful people.
No matter how big their teeth are.
Gentle gutters.
Gentle gutters.
Gentle gutters.
Tasteful gutters.
Tasteful gutters
gutters
and
and-
gentle teeth.
Gentle teeth. And again, Pat and I agree. His body in this movie, Robert Pattinson,
Is rocking.
aspirational but attainable.
Yes,
but
it is not
attainable.
It is
Honestly,
not the Brad
at the
Pitt-
height of me going to the gym, I was probably 2 months away from that if I tried hard enough.
Don't.
I don't know
let's
about
not-
that one.
No,
I
dude,
don't
it's
know
not
about
that.
that
He's
one.
not that big, dude.
I know
Yes.
he's not
I'm
that
saying big. I'm
He's
talking
also
about his
not that
cut.
toned.
Yeah,
He's
Dan
not
is,
that.
Dan
No,
is
he
very
isn't.
much
No.
in good shape, and I don't think you are 2 months away from that body.
No,
I am not 2
well,
months
no,
away
he's
from that,
Not
no.
the same size, but
No.
my point is he's not that cut.
What are you talking about, bro?
I'm saying Dan's in great shape right now.
Dude,
and I
if
still don't
Robert
think if he
Pattinson
took
walked
2
in here,
months-
he'd have a wider fucking.
Probably.
He'd have broader shoulders than us.
Probably. No, oh, Bill, he'd 100% have broader shoulders
Yeah,
than
for
us.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like
But-
in general, though, like he has a bigger frame. He's a bigger
Let us
guy.
know what you
aware
guys
of
think.
that.
We'll post
Yeah,
a picture of
yeah.
Pat.
I don't
If
think
you
this is a
he
worthwhile
posts a picture
conversation.
of-
But yes, but no, absolutely. We
Me
should
and
try and do
Pat
it. We should
with-
try and do it by
Wanna do the
August.
Batman
Get the
challenge?
Batman
We'll do
bod.
The Batman bod?
Yes.
Okay. All
Cutting
right, let's do
challenge.
it.
All right,
Let's do it.
We're doing it.
All right.
Shut me up.
How
back here in August.
fucking perfect. So yeah, either way, that weird conversation died. 10 out of 10 score for me. I seek this out immediately. I gave it a 9 out of 10 first because I wasn't really hot on the idea, but like, what is this trying to do? It does it all amazingly. It's an amazing Batman movie. It's an amazing comic movie. It's the best movie of the year thus far. I don't know what's going to top this. Like Doctor Strange will be good, but it's not going to be
Avatar
this.
2.
I know. This is doing like the Elden Ring thing where it's
Yeah.
like a game and something came out so early and you're like, game of the year, movie of the year.
Yeah,
You're
like, what are we
it
gonna do?
Might be.
So that's where I'm at. What are you guys at?
I'm trying to.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Where-
I don't think it was perfect, but it's the best movie I've seen in years, and it's to me it's the #1 Batman movie of all time.
I'm trying to think of a reason to not give it a 10 out of 10, but I really can't come up with it. I think I have to go with a 10 out of 10. I can't think of a reason to knock any points off of it other than like total run time. But that's it, and I'm not gonna knock it for points on that. So I give it a 10 out of 10.
I think initially coming right out of it, my initial reaction was like honestly like a 7.5, and then having sat with it for more and more, I'd bump it up like to an 8.5, too close to a 9.
Oh, We forgot. Morbius is coming out this year.
Oh, no, yeah.
son of
Did
a
you
bitch.
know?
Year.
Did you know Morbius is coming out, Nick?
Yeah, check out. Actually, that's a great point, Mike. You can go check out my article about the Morbius trailer.
Press any key.tv.
I want you guys to know that when I sat in the movie theater yesterday and I was talking to that guy, the Morbius trailer came up and he just goes, I go, this fucking trailer like that, because I have seen it so many times.
Yeah.
And he goes, you don't think this is going to be good? I go, this is going to be dog shit. He goes, really? You think so? I go, I don't think this is going to review well.
So. I
don't think this
so.
is going to make money. And I think all the fans are going to hate it. And he just goes, damn, yo, I really think this looks good. I was like, see, and that's the problem, is that there's people out there that look at this trailer and are like, this looks good.
Pat just cut this dude down to size.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that last part to him. I was just like, okay.
Well, it's interesting too for like Morbius to.
I really don't like that guy.
Morbius to come off the tails of Batman when they're both like very similar.
See,
in,
I
like,
want
a tried tenor.
Creature of the Night.
Yeah.
So,
you know.
Actually, it's funny that the way the release dates worked out. So this movie was originally set before the pandemic for a July 2021 release on that last weekend, the one that Warner Brothers loved so much. So was Spider-Man No Way Home, but they were in the beginning of July, 4th of July weekend, because that's when Spider-Man movies normally come out. Then, with the COVID-19 pandemic, Spider-Man couldn't even shoot. So they had to stop shooting. Robert Pattinson got COVID, all that shit, right? This gets moved to October 2021, and Spider-Man got moved to December. So we would have originally got this before Spider-Man. But Warner Brothers moved it to March 2022 because they couldn't afford a summer release, because it would cost too much money, and they have a bunch of other shit coming out this year. What was the other thing? Oh, they put it in March because it would be after Spider-Man.
Okay.
And HBO Max, that's the important part. All the movies that were brand new in 2021 were going to HBO Max and the theaters. And
at
they
the same
wanted this
time?
one
They
to
wanted
just
theaters.
murder at the box
Got it.
office. So that's
Got
why
it.
they held off on releasing it.
Okay.
How do you guys think this lived up to expectation versus the expectation for No Way Home?
I went in knowing this was going to be good because
Yeah.
I trust Matt Reeves. Like, I like all of his movies, but I wasn't like I didn't know it was going to be this. No Way Home I knew was going to be fucking crazy.
I didn't have a doubt in my mind that this was going to be bad in any way, but yeah, I was blown away by just how good it was.
Yeah. I would agree with both of you guys. And the one thing I'll add is that for No Way Home, it delivered, but it didn't blow my mind where like, holy shit, this is the greatest movie. It was like, wow, I had a real fun time, and that's exactly what I knew I was going to get it.
I will say this, though. When I saw Batman, actually, I think quite the contrary. This is like what played out in the movie, besides for like a couple aspects we can get into spoilers. This was pretty much what, like, I don't want to be like what I expected, because like I try not to have too many expectations going in. But like as far as what I thought the story would be and how the events would unfold when I went into the theater, that was pretty much it. Spider-Man No Way Home, I had no fucking idea what I was in for.
Yeah.
You know, I just knew that there was going to be a lot of villains and potentially I'd be seeing some Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And both
we knew that it was gonna be Doctor Strange doing a spell to make everybody forget who Peter Parker is, and that all the other villains were gonna come in. Like what was in that movie that you didn't know that was
That
in
you
there?
didn't see in like the trailer.
incorporating in the villains into the plot like that so seamlessly, because I thought they
Yeah.
would just be one and dones.
That would be a
and
big
two,
fight.
and two, the fact that they erased Peter Parker from existence in the MCU. Like
I wouldn't say
I
that those
didn't
are
see
big.
that
I didn't see that coming, and I did not know that was the avenue they were going to take. In Batman, everything that happened, besides for like some, like I said, this pretty much played out as I thought it was going to play out.
I'm going to really disagree. Every minute to minute, what happened? Like, yeah, we knew it was going to be Batman. We knew it was going to be Riddler. And we knew the Penguin was going to play into it. But like, Penguin could have been the main villain for all we knew.
Yeah.
Riddler might have been a Catwoman could have been a main villain rather than, like.
I always kind of
minute
thought
to
Riddler
minute-
was the main focus.
Okay, but it's like you had no idea. You had a thought, but I mean, like most people, like minute to minute through the movie, everything was a surprise, and
Yeah.
every twist and turn, you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah. I
No
agree
Way
with
Home,
that.
it's like very colored by numbers, and it's fun. Like I loved that movie, I had a great time, but it's like that was way more predictable than this.
See,
I think so too. Yeah.
The thing with Batman, where it was like you don't know what's coming, I definitely felt that, but we'll get into it when we get into spoilers. There weren't anything that I was like, oh fuck, when it happened.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
That's like that part of that emotional.
So you guys
thing I'm
want to get
talking
into spoilers now?
Yes.
Okay.
Go see the movie if you have.
Go see
Yes,
the movie.
absolutely.
Just go see it.
Absolutely worth
Okay.
seeing.
So first off, let's just talk in detail. Robert Pattinson's Batman. How in detail, like gross. Oh, by the way, this is all spoilers, so leave now.
Yeah.
He's
Spoilers,
fucking like
spoilers,
the
spoilers.
voice, perfect.
Yep.
His teeth, subpar.
Subpar.
Okay,
Subpar,
I gotta be
tiny
honest.
teeth.
I gotta be honest. I tried looking for the teeth on the third time around since you guys all mentioned it. I just kept being brought to the eyes.
No, dude,
the eyes, dude.
Because they wanted
everything.
they wanted you to not look at his tiny teeth.
Everything
That's what it was.
in this movie with his performance is in the eyes.
1,000%.
It's so
Yes,
fucking
but
crazy.
You're
that
not
doesn't
wrong,
mean that
but
I wasn't
they-
distracted by his teeth at times.
They did that on purpose
You
to
could be
prevent you
distracted
from
by his teeth.
looking
I
at his
wasn't,
little
though.
teeth.
Some of the criticism I read around it was it's kind of like, and I disagree with this criticism, is that, Batman's not talking and you're not like, you don't have a lot of like the internal monologue or anything like that where he is explaining the process. But like when he's going through the riddles and trying to figure shit out, looking at his eyes, you can like
You can
Yeah.
see the
feel-
gears
you can
turning.
see
You
the
can,
gears are
and like
turning.
he
Yeah.
is like his acting in that is just like you can really tell he's trying to think through and conceptualize and figure it all out, and he doesn't need
Yeah.
to say
I
anything.
love
And
how
like
he
he's
conveys,
looking around the room. Yeah.
He conveys that information without having
Without
to
talking.
speak too much. He's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like that one. He lies still. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh, that's the answer. All right, let's
Right,
get
like,
it.
I think Matt Reeves did a great job on not like beating you over the head with like dialogue.
Yeah.
So much of it, if you think about the scene where he's watching Selena and Annika through the window, how much time goes by without a single word spoken, but so much story is just unfolding in front of you.
Yeah.
It's just great acting.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Great
think.
directing.
And great
Great
directing
directing.
and great storytelling.
So what'd you guys think of like Batman's approach to things in this one? Because like I said, the first sequence where you see him beat up all the guys on the subway station or the train station or whatever, where it's raining, like the Batman we would expect would, like I said, Predator pick them off one by one.
Pull them up into
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
shadows.
yeah, and then he would fuck them, like whatever he would fuck them,
he would fuck 'em.
and then the rest of them,
bad fuck
the
them.
rest of them, he would fuck up when they had no weapons. This Batman, I think it's because he's younger and he doesn't
Yes.
have the. He's just walking up on fools, and like I like the approach because nobody ever sees him not come from the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think he lives in the shadows.
And he fights a lot like when Batman was fighting Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, Bane has a line where he says, "You fight like a younger man, nothing
Yeah.
held back."
Yeah.
That's exactly how he's fighting. He's fighting nothing held back. That's why he's like, "I am vengeance."
And that's why he's getting
He
he's taking
that's why
hits.
he's getting
And
hits.
that's
Yeah.
why he's
Yeah.
taking hits. And so but the thing is that he's young and he can just recklessly fight like that because he can take it. He can take those hits. And also he still has the mindset of, I am vengeance. He's taking out his anger on his parents' murder on the criminals of Gotham, and he's just fighting angrily
Have you
and
guys-
like a fucking
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
Have you guys seen the Twilight memes? Who's that over there? Oh, that's vengeance. or like the what where he's like, say it out loud, and she just goes, "You're vengeance." I was like, awesome.
But that's how he's fighting. He's fighting like a young man whose body hasn't betrayed him
And
yet.
I like that he doesn't move clunky. I feel
Yeah.
some Batmans
Yeah.
when they fight, they're very heavy.
Still
feeling,
can't turn his neck. Still
No.
can't turn
No
his
neck
head.
move.
But there's so
mobility.
much more of his face that we see. Other
Yeah.
Batmans, you
Yeah.
just saw.
Well,
like
that's because
this.
Yeah.
they specifically chose a guy with the jawline of
biggest
a
jawline.
glacier.
Yeah.
jawline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think this is the best, Batman suit that I've seen
Well, that-
put
yeah.
on film.
Yeah.
It was just like the way it fit so nice around his nose and everything. I thought it looked fantastic.
It wasn't
It's
like the
so
weird
nice
like
around
hole
him.
that
Yeah.
Christian Bale
Yeah.
was in.
It was-
The Batman glory hole.
Alfred, stick it in my bat hole. Anyway.
but
Anyway, so
yeah, really showed off
yeah.
the jawline.
Well, only thing I don't like about the bat suit, they gotta fix the pants. they gotta fix the pants. The pants are
the
like
sweatpants.
champion
Champion
sweatpants
sweatpants.
with just padding in them.
I
They
didn't
gotta
even
taper
notice
them
the
some.
pants.
I never
like,
thought about it.
I'm
I
sorry.
was looking at the pants.
I'm sorry. Like
There
I
was
know
a-
there's some superheroes that wear like loose garb. Batman's not one of them. Okay, you gotta taper those
Well,
up.
the thing is, there were also multiple shots where he had like this giant oversized hoodie over his bat suit.
Well, that's what
And
it
so-
dawned on me.
yeah.
I thought, is he putting the whole suit in his backpack?
it's
just
under.
the cape and the cowl, and
That's
he wears the
Watchdog
coat.
Exactly.
Over. Yeah, Watchdog's
And
Batman.
so, but the thing is, he put on like sweatpants over his bat pants, and they looked like
His
like
bat pants.
they looked like parachute pants,
Yeah. It's
It's
essentially.
like when it's
yeah.
too cold when you go to the gym in the winter and you like want to wear
Yo,
shorts, so you just
when
pull
he,
like sweatpants
when he
over.
Exactly,
sneaks
yeah.
into the club this third
Vanilla
time,
ice
which
pants.
by the way, the club bits when he's getting
I
in,
love that.
I love
The
when
twins.
the
twins.
when they say to him, when Jeffrey Wright's character Gordon says, "You need a warrant to get in," he goes, "Yeah," and like it just cuts to the street. The rain is coming down hard, and you just hear the thump, thump, and the third thump is
Yep.
his right boot right in
Yep.
front of you with the cape. I was like, oh, dude,
know.
what? And I thought he was gonna do some shit like he goes through a skylight or he's gonna do this or
knocks
nope.
on the
He knocks
front,
right
knocks
on
on
the
the
door,
door.
and he's like,
This-
"You know
this
who
is
I
the
am?
young-
I'm gonna kick my ass. I'm gonna
Exactly.
kick
Young-
all this ass to get to where I gotta
This
go."
is the young. I don't give a fuck. I haven't broken every bone yet, and I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
I haven't had enough pain yet, so I'm just
Like,
gonna run through.
I love when they were like,
Get the back.
nice
to
suit.
tank.
You wouldn't want to get blood on it. Who's mine or yours?
Mine or yours.
And he just fucks those guys
yeah.
up.
Yup.
It was
But-
awesome.
But yeah, no, he just knocks right on the front door. And I also love with the boot shot you're talking about. There was a lot of like Western kind of style cinematography, like with the boots.
There's
and
a
you
lot of
hear-
shots of his boots.
You hear the chains on his boot, like the whatever it is, like
Yeah.
like almost like spurs.
Yeah.
Almost like squishes sometimes. Like,
Batman just comes up with a belt buckle and a hat, and he's like grabbing. He's like, he's got a piece of straw in his mouth. He's like, "I'm vengeance.
Y'all know who I am.
I got small teeth."
Don't look at my teeth.
I thought the scene where he was fighting the people in the club felt exactly out of John Wick.
Well,
That
that's
was like-
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
the
a
other
little
at
bit,
first
yeah.
I was like, "This is kind of weird," and then I was like, "Oh wait, the Dark Knight did this too. He
Yeah.
fought all of Maroni's guys in the club to
Yeah.
get to Maroni."
Yeah,
so
yeah. But no, I just love that he just knocks right on the front door. He just doesn't care. And that's what we were talking about before, where that this is a grounded Batman, because he's literally on the ground. He's literally walking amongst the people and just
on the
walking
subway.
in.
not a lot of
In
not a
full
lot
bat
of
costume.
rooftop,
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
lot of rooftop gallivanting.
Exactly. And also, I kind of feel like that's also because this Batman is still a little afraid of heights. Because
Yes.
remember, when he's about
That
to
was
jump
awesome.
off, when he's about to jump off with the squirrel suit,
He's like,
he's like, oh shit. And
Yeah.
then he just does it.
It's
He just
so
runs
cool.
through.
I mean, like,
He
I
gets
hope they
fucked.
change this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he gets
I
fucked up.
hope we see over the course of these movies Batman's character, like he becomes the nice Batman. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
like nice, like, hey, I'm smiling.
What's up?
Like nice, like the next time he says he beats up a guy and he says, "I'm vengeance." There's just like a click and the music drops out and he whoops everybody's ass. Nobody even touches him. Like that's what I want us to get to, because I feel like that's the natural progression of where you can take Batman at this stage in his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even in the origin films,
Right.
Batman was getting it. He wasn't as nice as like he was in like say like Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, where you know he like fucking picks somebody out of a building and
Yeah.
gets them into a plane. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So
there was
that's-
no giant superhero-y moments like
Yeah.
that. This
Yeah, it
was
was
just
no-
specifically,
no, like,
specifically
Deus
from the
Ex
lane
shit.
of
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
So yeah, Batman killed it. I accept this version of Batman. He's awesome. I hope like easily he's top 3 Batman,
Yeah.
like live action.
One thing that I also noticed is like how we're talking about how he's like among the people, like he's just standing. One thing that I really noticed
bat
about
town.
one thing I noticed about this one was when they are in the when the mayor is killed and when they're in the mayor's office and you just see Batman, this dude in a bat suit walking around with just a bunch of detectives. It was the first time I've ever seen Batman and thought, wow, this guy is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
He is weird. He stands out like a sore thumb, and he's just walking around in a bat suit.
Goes and sniffs something.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is a weird guy.
He's vengeance,
This is a
bro.
Weird fucking guy.
He's vengeance.
And it also goes into Bruce Wayne, who is fucking
Yeah,
strange.
so notice
That's a
we haven't
great-
brought that up,
yeah.
and I feel like that's by design because this
Yeah.
movie has like 3 Bruce Wayne scenes.
I was
Yeah.
about to like try and transition into that. I love that we didn't get like bullshit Playboy Bruce Wayne.
This is the first like weird,
a very
emo-
broken
this is-
Bruce Wayne.
Right. And
He's
it would
a
have
recluse.
It
Yeah.
would have completely got rid of all of like how he is in this movie, everything essentially around his Batman character. I felt it was a really authentic portrayal of him in as both characters as one individual, as opposed to like the classic dichotomy of
Yeah.
Bruce and then Batman.
rather than like the old Bruce Wayne, who's
Well,
like the
Bruce Wayne
playboy
is the
who was
mask.
trying- Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Because
Where
he
this
even
is-
goes to the funeral because it's going to further the Batman plot. You know?
Exactly. He doesn't go because he's required to as Bruce Wayne.
But
Yeah.
it's,
he goes, yeah.
it's even like he's not going to show face as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And even when they're at the funeral, he's like listening in on like Gordon's conversation. He's not being Bruce Wayne. He's just being Batman, but in disguise.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Real quick, I just want to throw in. Pat and I talked about this when he and I were having a discussion about the Tim Burton Batman movies, and Tim Burton offered the role to Michael Keaton after having worked with him on Beetlejuice, and he was like, "Hey, let me know if you're interested in doing this." Michael Keaton his first reaction was, "No, this is not the role for me." Tim Burton said, just read the script. Let me know what you think. So he went home and read it and came back and said, there's only one way that I'm willing to do this role. And that's if I can play it as Bruce Wayne is a crazy person. And like Tim Burton's like, cool, that's exactly what I want. That's what I want to
Okay.
do. I think they didn't like, it's a cool concept, but I don't think they stuck the landing in their version of it. Whereas this nails it. This is exactly what I want to see out of this guy. Hasn't dealt with his emotional baggage.
Yes.
He's like losing his mind, sitting alone in his tower by himself for years and years and years.
Right,
Yep.
which I think is
And-
go ahead.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, like, you typically see Bruce Wayne as the playboy party guy. That's because he's drowning his pain from watching his parents get murdered in drugs, alcohol, and women. Whereas in this case, he's just drowning in his own pain.
Yeah.
And he's just become an emo recluse who
And
doesn't talk to anybody.
I think that's a great parallel to the Riddler in this. You get both
Yeah.
sides of kind of like that weird,
Yeah.
insecure, incel-ish type,
So let's talk
individual.
about the villains, actually. Let's start with the show stealer, the Penguin. Colin Farrell is fucking incredible as Oswald Cobblepot. I love that scene. I love, whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Boy, you're everything they say, aren't you?
You do that really, really well.
Hi,
yeah.
I'm Oz. Like, easy there, vengeance. Like,
I'm sure.
and he was such a fucking like schmoozy mobster type,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like even when after Batman jacks him up and threatens to beat the shit out of him right
Yeah.
there, he's like, let me know if there's anything else I could do. You know,
He's like,
it's like,
hey, wait a minute, where you going? And he's just still tied up. He's like, get back here.
you guys notice he waddled like a penguin.
did.
Yeah.
I did like that. I mean, there was some like a little bit of sleaze. Like you could tell how like gross, nasty his character was without him being overtly sexual.
Yep.
Like he
Yeah.
was in a couple. There was a couple off.
Let's go,
handed
beautiful.
things. But there were things like that. But it wasn't like I was like, I'm so glad I didn't have to watch like just an old fat dude like object.
Get his
like,
dick ridden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Which is
to, like,
weird because I
understand.
actually imagined that in the second showing. I was like, he said something to some girl. I was like, dude, there's some nasty girls that probably ride this dude's dick.
Yeah, but like we didn't like they didn't need to sexualize him to make him like a disgusting character.
Batman saw him deal drugs, and Batman didn't immediately throw him through a window.
Batman doesn't
I think
give a shit.
Batman-
It didn't serve
Because
Batman's figuring
Yeah,
things
yeah,
out. He's
that's
like,
right.
Because
You're
also
talking
at
about
that
Vigilante from Peacemaker.
Because like also like I would have locked you guys up 3 years ago.
You guys, I would
killed
have
you
killed
guys.
you
I would've
guys.
killed you guys 3 years ago. But no, that was also like Batman also saw the drugs and he was like, "This is the last thing I need to
Yeah.
worry about right
Yeah.
now. There are bigger problems
just like
here
like a
than
cop
drugs."
being like, please, like
Add that
I
to
don't
the
want to do
list.
the paperwork.
So what's
I don't
the-
want to do the
Exactly.
paperwork.
So yeah, so either way, Colin Farrell's great. He's also, I got you, you psycho. Like, I love that. I love all his lines. He's awesome. He is, at least out of the villains in this movie, he's my favorite.
And also, if I didn't know this was Colin Farrell going into it, never would have guessed it.
You would have never known.
guessed
You
it.
really pulled a Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
There's at
He
least
did.
one guy who watched this movie and leaned into his friend and went,
Who the fuck
I
is
think
that?
that's Colin Farrell. Is that Colin Farrell? Like, at least one guy.
Well, especially
And
like
later
in the-
at dinner, he's like, holy shit, it was, dude.
and like
I
before
know
the
my favorite
movie-
actor anywhere.
Before the movie, they have like that introduction with like the cast sitting there, and you see Colin Farrell. There was definitely a guy who was like, "I'm still waiting for Colin Farrell to show up. Where the hell is he?"
Yeah, I remember when Colin Farrell, someone got a picture of him on set, and he had like this gray hair, and like he looked like he had gotten a little bigger, but that was it. It wasn't what this was. And now I think that's a decoy. Like they put somebody on the studio lot was hired to take a picture of him going into the studio with half a costume on.
Oh, got
you know
it,
what I
got it.
mean? And like be like, this is what he's gonna look like,
Ooh.
to distract from how he's actually
possibly,
Tantalize us.
to tantalize. So yeah, Penguin's good. Riddler. Let's talk about Riddler.
He was, to me, the standout.
Jigsaw.
Yeah,
That's what I thought the entire time. And like
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
It was puzzles. He was just building puzzles.
I'm kind of upset at the fact that him and Batman had one of their major confrontations over FaceTime.
Oh yeah, I get that.
I thought
get
that was kind of weird. I mean, it was still good dialogue and good character building and the scene moved and the story moved because of it. It was all in service of that and it made sense in the world and everything. Like I said, I don't deduct any points from that. I just like wish as a Batman fan, he got him in his clutches. Like
Yeah.
And then like an explosion went off or something and they get separated or
and
something,
But the only face-to-face interaction they have is through like bulletproof glass.
And he's trying to fucking get through.
He's trying to punch the glass. Yeah.
I think the Riddler usually is like a weird, like kind of stupid, goofy, like dumb kind of character in that way. Like I mean, like Jim Carrey, like his approach to it.
His approach to it was just play Jim Carrey.
He was always much worse in the comics, but he was never this.
He was never this. The thing is, like, this is part of the emotional issue I had with it. All the riddles, I didn't want to like
Surprise,
understand.
boys.
Oh, wait,
what is this?
Oh, we got a surprise guest, Liz.
Is this the Little Caesars?
This is
Batman?
Little Caesar's Batman
Oh,
calzone.
what? Wait,
Jesus
I didn't know that was a
Christ.
thing.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of this online and I thought it was a joke. I thought these
wait,
pizza
wait.
calzones
I think
were a
Jess
joke.
told us
Hold on.
about this the first
I've been
time.
planning this for a month.
All right, well, you
I had
didn't-
this
you
on
didn't bring it up.
Hold on.
Thank you, Liz.
I've been planning this for a month.
Thank you, Liz.
Hot and ready, huh?
Little
we can just
Caesars.
get rid of that if we want.
Just put it on the floor, Dan.
Hand it over to me.
Hold on.
Never mind.
Hold
Don't
on.
put it on the floor.
Don't put it on the floor.
A cat just walked into the room.
Not that cat.
While we're doing this.
It's carrying fire.
Oh, there we go. Oh my God.
Oh, get a shot of that. Let's get a shot of that.
Just don't spill it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
boys.
it.
It's
That
it's
is
a pizza
it.
that is straight up got two
bad.
pizzussies. That looks like a Batman.
That's mad luxurious.
That's for
hysterical.
Jess
Let's
because
put
she's
that
not
there.
here.
It's so funny.
And then, we got a pepperoni one too.
Oh, holy!
I wish they
Pizzussies.
cut the pepperoni into question marks.
Some asshole with a stencil and an X-Acto knife on a big piece of salami.
Dude being paid minimum wage is
fucking
like, I
damn it.
fucking hate
It's
another
like,
one.
it's like those guys that order the
Pepperonis.
baseball pancake at Denny's. And they got to put all the jelly
Where it's in the
ribbons.
shape of a baseball.
Yeah, but they got to put all the red like thread in through the
red
Red thread.
boom.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so excited.
damn.
I can't wait to eat this on air. I got one. Thank you.
I can't
you
wait
got
for
one?
the audience to hear us chew.
I'll bring us back. I'll bring
Yeah,
it
that's true.
back.
Yeah,
Accidental
Berg,
ASMR.
what were you saying? Bring
it
us back.
So my issue is with the riddles. I know the riddles are kind of like supposed to be a little bit like kind of dumb, campy occasionally, like with the Riddler as a character. I didn't want the riddles to be like, thank you. Yeah. I didn't want the riddles to be like, this is something I can figure out and I know what it figures out. But whenever a riddle was solved, it was kind of solved in a way that was like, okay, that could be it.
Yeah.
So it never was a good payoff.
I think what Danny was saying though is it's like you could easily deduct what the riddle answer
I wanna
was,
pussy.
but then the answer wasn't going to give you an exact, the answer to what the bigger scheme was overall.
Right.
Yeah, you could solve the riddle, but you didn't know the meaning behind the riddle, like El Rata.
Right, but like to that element of it, I was kind of like okay, you solved it. Like or you solved it. And then that's where I was like nothing was like, "Oh, fuck, that's what the meaning of that riddle was," and there was an implication from it.
Yeah, I get that.
Because
Wait, did you bring us paper towels?
yeah, because I'm thinking about it, and I know
thank God.
I know it's hard to like. Again, we're not doing the compare to compare, but like in the Dark Knight with the two boats where they both have like the detonators. That was one of those scenes where like that happened, and I was like, oh my God, like holy shit, like that was emotionally impactful, and I just never got that from any of like the main
I get
riddles
you.
or problems in this kind of movie.
It doesn't ever put Batman in a position where it's like this decision has so much impact.
Yeah, because of the implication.
Because of the implication.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Each riddle was just like leading him. I guess the impact would be another person's gonna die, but it doesn't feel.
we're rich white people.
it's
Does any of us care?
Well, that and, and it's not immediate like 1-to-1. Your decision is gonna kill
If
this
Batman
man.
cares, I care.
which I get because I know they didn't want to like that's very Saw. Like that is
Yeah.
very very Saw, and I know that they didn't want to be like if we do that then it will directly pretty much be Saw. So I think I do.
I love how everyone's trying to eat away from the mic.
I'll keep talking, baby. I'll
Okay,
keep talking. Wait, I got more. I'll keep going.
Okay, but
I'll
I
just hit all the soundboard buttons for a few minutes.
I do want to add to what you were saying about the riddles. I don't think the riddles were like. I don't think they were like necessarily like earth-shatteringly hard riddles. I mean, Rada Alada, obviously, I would have never got that, but the he lies still thing, people figured that out in the trailer and everything. But they were always clever. They always led to like a really interesting point in the story. You know what I mean?
They served a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
This was a bad idea.
I can't. This is also the very first time I've ever had Little Caesars before.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually ever had
Well,
Little
dude,
I've never had
you're-
Little
Not bad.
Caesars before.
Not bad,
It-
not bad at all.
Terrible. Not terrible.
I do feel like because this movie was done in very much comic book
I
style.
told Joe to come engineer, and he didn't want to. He
didn't
missed
want
out
the
on the
pizza.
pizza.
Joe's missing out.
But you were saying?
I was saying that because I feel this was so much more of a like a comic almost movie to me. When he was like looking at the riddles, and I do feel we talked about this a little earlier, where he was kind of like it was riddle beat, Batman instantly solves it.
Right.
I feel like if you were talking about it from a comic perspective, you have the ability to like freeze time, kind of do like a panel where it's kind of like Batman's internal monologue.
Right.
He goes through. That can happen over like 3-4 panels. Doesn't work really well that in a movie to do that.
I still
This is
think
pizza, everyone.
Mike, that's a great point.
Thank you.
You just have to assume his internal monologue is going.
Yeah, but I still think they did a good
But do
job.
you when
of
they
at
have
least-
an internal monologue like out loud?
I did at least still like the fact that, or I thought that what they executed well was, again, what we were talking about earlier, where you see his gears turning. You really see that he's thinking. And sure, we don't get that freeze frame or the internal monologue, but I at least still felt like I was getting
I
the
would
fact
agree with that,
yeah,
too.
I
Yeah.
felt that I was getting I was hearing his mind really working, essentially.
Like Pat keeps saying, you look in his eyes and you can
It's
you,
his
you know
eyes.
exactly
it's
what's going
it's
on.
his eyes. So I guess the final one, she's not really portrayed as a villain in this movie. But I don't think, even though, I mean, that doesn't really betray her character or anything.
No.
But I feel like they got the will they won't they relationship aspect of Batman and Catwoman
Yeah.
like really nailed down in this one. And I mean, Zoe Kravitz's performance is,
Very good.
is very good.
Very
So,
good.
I feel like Catwoman's really good too, but once again, I just like
I think it's hard
I
to
thought
compare.
I think it would have been cool if I saw her whoop everyone's ass in a room full of people too. You know what I mean? Like Catwoman can do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like that's what I wanted to see.
Like, you saw her beat up maybe one or two
that
people.
one dude she beat up when his
Yeah.
fucking face slammed on
yes.
the fucking pool table.
That was
Yeah.
brutal.
Oh, yeah.
That felt brutal.
yeah.
But I with Catwoman, I kind of felt like there wasn't any need to have her be Falcone's daughter. I felt like that didn't serve much of a purpose for me.
I agree.
And also, like it just felt like that was what I was talking about, where they could have cut time a little bit by just completely cutting that storyline in a way.
Yeah.
But she still had a motive to go and want to kill him. That then brought
Annika.
Yeah, exactly. It was Annika. She had a motive. You didn't need to
I
have
will
her
say
be
this, though.
the daughter.
In the book that they pull that storyline from, it's never really confirmed if Selena is his daughter. It's just kind of theorized and like they kind of put it together type of deal. This one, she flat out says it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess you're right. I don't really know what it adds to her character, but maybe it was supposed to set up some more personal stakes. But I agree with you. You know, in the grand scheme of things, you can just I'll get to it later.
This is great podcasting.
I'm just gonna put it down. So that,
Holy shit.
In the that's why I stopped ordering Little Caesars. I only got it once with Joe, and we both agreed this is the greasiest pizza I've ever eaten in my life.
Pat, grease me up.
Raise me up.
Oh, dude, we're out in this one. We got to open up the other one. I'll make the sacrifice play. Take him that one. Give him that
Give him
one.
this one.
Okay.
I'll make the sacrifice. What a guy.
I don't want it that bad. If you
No, you got it.
All right.
I'll make the sacrifice, even though we have a whole other
Watch
pie
out, the
here.
other side. The calzone is coming out the other
There's
side.
the zoni.
Oh,
The
that's what-
zoni's leaking.
There's cheese leaking out the zoni, Nick, on the other side. On the other side.
Yo, where's that other marinara?
Marinara.
Am I passing that? Pass that red.
This
boy.
is
What a fun tangent.
this is the grossest I've ever felt.
I feel terrible.
And I almost showed you guys my frenulum before.
You just talked about it.
So, speaking of frenulums, Falcone.
Holy shit.
He was okay. He was. So when they reveal the rat to be Falcone, when he told the story to Bruce Wayne the first time about like his father, how he was distraught and everything, and like,
Yeah.
I immediately knew. I was like,
Right.
he's the rat. I was like 100%. I said to Liz, if it's somebody else at this point, I will be fucking shocked because there's like, who are they going to reveal?
Right.
Is it Maroni? Like, was it really Maroni the entire time?
That they
Turns
already
out Maroni's not even in the movie.
No, they caught him 2 months earlier or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So
But going back to that conversation, I did just really love the, I guess, like the juxtaposition of Batman, Bruce Wayne going back to the club and doing the same dialogue where he's just like, you know who I am? And they're like, yeah, this is Bruce Wayne. And they just let him in because
Yeah.
he's Bruce Wayne as opposed to
I love
Batman
that.
beating his way in.
And
But
then
I love
Prince
that
of
they
Gotham.
use the same dialogue.
When he shows up in Falcone's office and Penguin is like, hey, what's up there, handsome? Like,
yeah.
Just how they treat him so differently.
Right. I thought it was kind of weird with Falcone, where it's like the whole thing was like him being the rat, but also it's like, you know, he is the true mayor and all of this and this. It's like you could have just made
can
him
just
like
tell me.
a powerful crime boss.
That's really bad marinara.
it was okay. It's
I
fucking
I
Little
can't.
Caesars,
Do you
bro.
really
can't.
expect Little
I
Caesars
can't.
to be good?
No, I can't with that.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's like him
You
being a
wasteful ass
rat,
bitch. No.
him being a rat, and him being both like, you know, in charge of everything as like the Godfather. I was like, he could have just done all of
John
that as
Turturro
the
was
back.
good too, yeah.
Yeah, but he could have just done all of that as like a big crime syndicate leader. Like it didn't have to be like a rat and other bullshit with it.
How does the
Also,
Riddler
the
know he
drops.
was the rat?
The Riddler is
No,
on
that's a good
4chan
question. Yeah.
and has
Riddler is
seen all of WikiLeaks.
I kind of thought they were gonna go with the rat as the Riddler. Like the Riddler was like a detective that they used as the rat and then tossed aside for whatever reason. I was
Man,
like,
it must
maybe
be wild to watch this movie without knowing Batman canon.
that's the thing. I don't know that canon, so I was just like, wow, maybe
You're in a
he's the
totally
rat.
different lane than me.
I thought that would have been a cool way to go, but it wouldn't have also made much sense. But yeah, I had no idea who the rat would have been. I had no clue.
Like that was also good where they're like, that's the big riddle throughout the whole thing, as like where we're learning like, oh, Batman's not the best detective right
Yeah,
now.
I will say this though: when Gil Coulson, right before he dies, he's like, "If I say that name, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than just us. It's the whole damn system will come down." I was like, "Corrals, let's do it." And then, nah, it was just Falcone. Like this is
Right.
see, like so that's what kind of once again, that's like my expectation, and that movie was never trying to do this in the first place. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Pat, question for you.
Yes.
Is Thomas Wayne canonically a doctor? I've never heard that part of his backstory. And is
I think he is.
Martha Wayne canonically
Crazy.
Crazy.
I don't know.
And
I know that-
No.
In some iterations, he is a doctor. Most he is. And
I've
the only
always
other
just heard him as
time,
like businessman.
Right.
the only other time I've heard about her going crazy was when they did Flashpoint.
Yeah, that's
and she turned into the Joker.
What?
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's main canon too. That's canonical.
Never fucking knew that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, her Martha being crazy. I didn't see that one coming. And also, I was wondering if it was true or
The
not.
Arkhams use their money and their power to cover it up.
You're not as smart as I thought you were.
Has she always been in Arkham? That's another thing that I didn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good question. I was like, okay, this is interesting how we're taking this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love the Hush reference too, which if you guys aren't familiar, that's a very popular Batman villain that came at least like in the last 10 years. They wrote a really good storyline. Turns out they're childhood friends. He's a surgeon. He cuts up other people and rebuilds Bruce Wayne's face and puts it on his own face and then goes around parading as him.
That's wild.
Using other people's faces.
No, using Bruce Wayne's face.
Oh,
Face Off.
And then there's
Face
one
Off.
in the Arkham Knight game. The way you beat that storyline is because since the world already had his Batman's secret identity revealed to the world in that game, the way you beat that storyline is, Batman just takes off his mask and just goes, "All right, well then take your best shot." Like, and like he couldn't believe that like Batman and Bruce Wayne were the same, so he lets his guard down and you jack this motherfucker like through a wall. It's awesome.
Kill him.
So yeah, that was a nice little Easter egg they dropped in there. Like I said, but I believe that Hush would be real in this Gotham. Let's talk about Riddler's murders. First murder, Mitchell. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. It was.
I didn't realize
horrifying.
until the second time I saw it that they dropped the murder weapon, center frame, and blur out everything else, and that's them trying to tell you how important this is.
Yeah.
How important this will be to the story. And I love the fact
not only
Also
that-
maintaining a PG-13 rating.
they also, when the cops are investigating, you see Batman looking down at it, and then one of the crime scene investigators takes a photo of where
Yes.
the divot in the floor was. Like they really wanted to
Like
hammer
after
that home.
noticing
Yeah.
Batman noticed.
Yeah,
And
that was
also,
cool.
and they also chose a very unique object so that you would remember it when you saw it again, rather
they
as opposed
also
to like a
chose-
hammer or
yeah.
a knife.
But they
Yeah.
also chose an object that Batman would never know because
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's never done a hard day's work in his life.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that was fucking genius.
He wouldn't know what a carpet. What is it called?
A tucker,
A tucker. A tucker. Yeah.
which is like so not
Something different
that's
on
so
RuPaul.
not
Yeah.
savory.
different on 4chan.
It's good thing they almost called it a frenulum. So like
They could have.
What is this? That's the frenulum.
oh,
Pat.
it's
Your dad
it's a
was a
frenulum.
doctor.
My uncle, he's a carpenter. So
He's a drag queen. He's a tucker.
I'm wondering, like, what did you guys think of the cops? Like,
Mike, I'm so glad you brought this up.
go for it. You go for it.
Because I like that you have a relationship with the cops, that they, it's not just the police force and their faceless drones. You actually, like, you get to know them, and I think I'd like to see Mustache Guy appear more in the future and have...
Kenzie,
yeah.
have the DA's office.
I really like that they have interpersonal relationships.
I like that too. I think it's good that it's like to your point, like if they made Gotham City a character, they had to like elevate the police force
Yes.
as something too, and incorporating it like how you were talking about, where he's like walking around with them, talking
Yeah.
with them.
And
It's
you-
not
and you
like
get-
a him versus them. There's still that tension.
Well, the whole
it's
plot is
more on a
based around
person to
corruption,
person.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
So like you had to include the police and like you had to get intimate with them. I mean, like in the trailers, when I saw those scenes of him in the precinct, my whole thing, I was like, I don't even know how they even got there, but it's got to be fucking wild because like it looks like Batman's about to fight all those cops.
Yeah.
Right.
And like that's when it dawned on me that like the limb that Jim is willing to go out on
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's
to,
how
like,
much he
for
trusts
Batman.
them.
Yeah,
But-
well he doesn't trust anyone else. You
Yeah.
know, they say that.
But I think you also take into account that scene where Batman breaks into the original crime scene. It was Kenzie, you said his name was?
Yeah.
He's there and he's like, what are you doing in here? And like slowly warms up to him. I think that it really shows. It's the cops don't.
No, that's not Kenzie. Kenzie's the guy that is in the Iceberg Lounge that Batman breaks.
Oh,
into.
okay, yeah. The guy with the mustache.
the little
The
mustache.
main cop with the...
The one who first tries to keep Batman out of the mayor's crime scene.
The goofy
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
cop.
You
Like,
can,
yeah,
you can
the
see
goofy
them-
cop.
Hey, Bruce Wayne.
Exactly.
yeah.
At a funeral.
Wayne.
At a funeral.
You can see the cops start, like, they don't hate him, they mistrust him, and then they slowly start to warm up to the idea that, okay, he's with us.
He's with us, and he's really damn good at his job.
Yeah.
That's like Lunchables pizza sauce.
I felt like I was dipping the thing in. I felt like I was dipping it in water.
It was too sweet.
I wouldn't be that critical, but
it's
not.
water.
I've had better.
That's
Oh,
defending.
definitely had better. Yeah, it's defending Little Caesars marinara sauce.
But yeah, they tolerate Batman like begrudgingly at a certain point, and then kind of like it's where the thing. It's like, oh shit, anybody could be next, so we're gonna work together.
Yeah, we just want to solve this case as quickly as possible. So sure, we'll
You
give
sounded
you
like you were gonna say wee woo.
wee woo.
No, 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 no,
No,
no, no, niggas. Not how it was supposed to happen.
So much of this movie was unintentionally funny.
Yes.
There were so many points where I was
Like,
losing
unintentionally?
my
My son has a
unintentionally.
boner. I'm Thomas Wayne, and I approve this message after he just got kissed. That was probably his first kiss.
Yeah, probably actually. Yeah,
Wild.
Yeah,
That's totally a possibility, too.
could have been his first kiss, and it was Batman's first kiss, not Bruce Wayne's first kiss.
What about Dory, though?
Dory?
Nick, what about Dory?
What happened with Dory?
I'm just saying there was some sexual tension between
when
Batman
when
and
she
Dory.
picked up the phone,
She was like, oh, there's been
I've been
an
trying to reach you
accident.
for an hour.
she's like, I don't have a cell phone. I don't know these new times.
All I know is I love you.
Scares me.
I love you, and I've had your son.
No, there was I've had your son.
I've had your child, Bruce.
Holy shit, that's the Riddler.
But
The Batman 2, How to Bury a Body.
But with the comedy, like when we were talking about before the interrogate where Batman is surrounded by all the cops. When he's in there and he's like, I have you for assaulting an officer, and he just says, I counted 3 or something like that.
Because he hit 2 and he's
He
going to
hit
hit
2,
him.
yeah.
Even I got you on assaulting an officer.
I got you on assaulting an officer.
He interfered with an active hostage situation. You could be an accessory to murder.
Why did they pick him? Like,
I thought, no.
Here's the thing.
His voice
trust this
was
guy?
great.
That's the thing. I mean, like I've met so many like New York cops that sound exactly like
Mike,
that.
you know a lot of
2
New York
minutes.
I do know a lot of New York
I'll
cops.
give you 2 minutes.
All right, give him the room.
Yeah. Also, like that he was just like,
Mike, you want
Happy
to know why
fucking
he's-
Halloween.
You want
The
to know why
cops
he
were
sounds
so
like that?
cops.
are you really
in
gonna do this?
Mike,
Are you gonna do this?
Son of a
Put your goddamn hands up, you son of a bitch.
The reason he sounds like that is because he was a volunteer
Yep, there we
at
go. I knew he was
9/11.
going for
He
this.
went into those towers to save people, and now he's got COPD, and you're gonna
Mesothelioma.
ridicule him.
That's why I was giving you an out.
I appreciate it.
I was giving you an
That man is an American hero.
Then he should retire on that fund.
Unfortunately, the U.S. government isn't paying victims of burn pits and all these other issues.
Oh my God! This
Who is this?
I watch a lot of Jon Stewart.
I was gonna. No, last week was the
Jeffrey
history
Wright?
episode. This week is the political episode.
Well, actually, it's time we do talk about that. We don't have to get into it like detail or anything, but this movie does use political themes.
Yeah.
It is so relevant to our society on a certain level that I'm kind of like, most movies are like, come on, just keep that out. But this one, I was like, this enhances the
It
storytelling.
leans into it. It just leans
Yeah,
into
and
it.
it does it in a way that is not like
Condescending.
condescending, but
shoehorned.
it's not shoehorned. And
Oh,
it's
there
not
was some
kind of-
shoehorning in this
There,
movie.
well, like I mean, when he talks about like, the whole like white privilege thing, it's like the thing is, it makes sense and it lends to the character. It is not just bullshit discourse that they're like, because yeah, Riddler is pissed off because he was an orphan. all of this like funding that was supposed to go to, the renewal project got misappropriated and got all, in everybody's pocket. And he got basically fucked out of a good life or a slightly better life than he could have had.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole concept of, white privilege and like,
Did he ever try getting a job?
hey man, he had to afford that rifle somehow.
Or like Catwoman like says to Batman, "Oh, you grew up rich, didn't you?" Like
Yeah.
like that line specifically.
Wherever you're
Yeah.
from, you must have grew up rich.
You grew up rich, yeah, because he did. Because what was it that he said? It
He was
she
acting like
made
a
that
fucking
choice.
asshole,
He
yeah.
was. It was like she made her choice of crime, and it was like you don't realize how the world really works, do you?
But yeah, it was in it like I felt that it actually like heightened the characters.
Well, there's a
personality.
conversation. There's a conversation to be had around: is Batman really doing any good, or is he
Yeah.
making it
Yeah,
worse?
at the
Is he
church.
just beating up poor people?
'Cause
Like,
he even says, like, I've been at this for 2 years and crime has gotten worse.
Yeah.
and it's just like, well, what's the common
And
denominator
they allude
there?
to that with the mayoral, the woman
and I think that,
in the church where she's like, the Waynes used to do good shit. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
and then
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that kind of leans into it. Actually, we should move on to talking about the ending, because that is actually the linchpin of the story, specifically Batman's character arc. So
Yeah.
the act 3 of the movie is the Riddler gets arrested. They find out the mysteries. Carmine Falcone is the rat.
Yeah.
The Riddler kills him with the help of Batman in
Because
some
he-
sick, twisted way. They have the interrogation scene in Arkham Asylum, and it looks like the Arkham Asylum from the video games.
100%.
And it also didn't try to imitate the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight at all.
Nope.
Yeah, it didn't have them coming face to face or any
Yeah.
type of crazy revelation or something like that
Well,
where Batman was trying to
yeah,
beat it out
I mean,
of
like,
him.
no, he was trying to. He didn't know if the Riddler knew who he was or not. and
Yeah.
it seemed like in the beginning that he did, but then
Yeah.
he says like he's the only one we didn't get.
That was
and
one
that's
of
when it
those-
turns
yeah.
into like, what do you mean we, bitch? Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that. It felt to me like it wasn't sure if he was like teasing for because there's the security camera. It felt almost
Yeah.
like he was teasing, I know who you are, in front of the security camera to me.
And then he
That's
starts
what
screaming,
that's what it wanted you to
"Bruce
think. That was the tension of it. It was
Wayne."
kind of like Bruce, like he's calling him out, and then he's like, "We like Batman, me and you, we failed. He's the only one, so you got to go do something about it." Like that
Yeah.
was, and then he was like, "Oh, thank God, he doesn't know it's me."
He just relaxed in that
I
moment.
realize now that they're on Arkham Island, and that's why when Riddler watches out the window as the bombs go off, he can see the seawall exploding because he's actually on the outside of the city.
Which I tried to do a little research to really see if that's how seawalls work, where if you can just detonate a seawall, an entire city would flood like that.
Like New Orleans.
I welcome a scientist to come on the show and explain seawalls to me to see if it's that easy to just
I
do
just
it.
don't understand how it would be built.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because all of a sudden then it's just like
there's
there's
the city of New
concrete-
Orleans. You can go
Well,
and look at.
New Orleans
for
also
example.
has levels of seawalls that are
Levees.
built out in the sea. That isn't just the like
And it's
this was just
also-
there's one barrier blocking all the water from getting in, and it's literally right outside of the city. Like you could go to the seawalls basically.
Like the sea, like so that's what puzzles me about the
Puzzles.
the logistics of it. However, I feel like a lot of people, I see a lot of people online are saying that the movie didn't need the seawall and the arena, and I was like, no, what? That's how it all ties together. Like that's the culmination is that it takes place over 7 days, and she wins the election, and like even though like she won the election, like Batman still has to step in and
Yeah.
like help
Yeah.
out pretty much.
Yeah.
Did she win the election, or did her competition get murdered?
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
elections
no.
had been won
Didn't it say
for
that?
decades.
True.
Didn't it say that
It's a
she
really
won by
Kennedy
93% of the
situation.
vote?
I don't remember
it said
that.
on the screen that she won by
She
like
won by-
93% of the
she won
vote.
by like an
Okay.
overwhelming
Well,
percent.
so you're saying that only 7% of the vote decided to vote for a dead man?
Yes,
Or
a
abstain.
third party
or a
candidate.
third party candidate.
third-party
yeah.
candidate.
Mickey Mouse,
What one thing that I do find hysterical about the seawall was it just goes to show that the biggest threat to Gotham is not a psychotic clown, is not a man holding it hostage with nuclear weapons. It's water damage.
Global warming.
It's global
Natural
warming and climate
disaster.
Well,
change.
Joe actually said something really funny on the way home we were watching. He's like, I liked how the Riddler was doing some old school Batman villain
Yeah.
shit. He's like, I'm gonna flood the
Okay.
city.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
That's,
You know, like-
that's where I'm glad you brought that up, because I was kind of torn in the theater. I'm like, does it need this plot? You could have easily cut the movie at where, he's been foiled and he's in jail, and then, you do your Selena Kyle drive away on motorcycles, but you didn't need that whole plot. Yes, you're right, it does tie everything together, but you could have easily cut an hour out of the movie and not had that.
Well,
But
what would have been
they managed? I guess the solution is you just call it the Riddler.
Yes.
But it's cool that they were able to do almost 1960s Batman plot where it's like, I'm gonna do my evil thing.
I'm gonna flood the city.
But the stakes weren't
Beat me in a surfing competition, Batman.
the stakes weren't so astronomical. It was still grounded, and it only took place in the city, and they really walked that line really well.
I also just thought it was really interesting that, I know that he did the whole point of blowing up the seawall was to get everybody in one location
so that they could do a
so
mass shooting.
they could do a mass shooting. But I was like, why didn't you just put bombs in Madison Square Garden?
You know how many people he killed when he flooded the sea?
Well, I know
like,
a lot.
There's
of people
definitely
died.
Mike, also,
thousands of people.
If
dead.
you put bombs in the MSG, then your incels don't get to kill people with their own hands.
That's fair.
There's no
Yeah.
vengeance.
That's
no
yeah.
vengeance.
It's like you
Yeah.
lose that
So-
like
That
element
sense of
it.
Let's talk
personal-
about the seawall, the arena. I guess the way it plays out. So, Batman doesn't figure out that there's 7 bombs everywhere, and when he says it was right in front of you the entire time, that's when I go back to that first shot where they're showing you the Tucker.
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh shit! That's when he rips the carpet up
Yeah.
and figures it out. I don't think that was necessarily too obvious for a lot of people, but I think that's the point, is because it's not obvious to Batman.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
like I said, he's never done a fucking
Right.
day's work in his life.
Yeah.
And then I guess going forward after that, when the flood starts to come, I thought it would take longer, but no, it really did just kind of flood immediately.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what happens when you blow 7 places on the
Yeah,
seawall.
now you have 7 points of entry
Yeah.
as opposed to just one.
They are never
Yeah.
getting.
And
that
I
water
love the
out
way
of
that
there.
they did it. They were like,
No,
we got to get
no.
you to safety. And she was like, he's like, yeah, but isn't this a shelter? He's like, yeah, for a hurricane, not if the whole seawall came down.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
how
yeah.
do they not have contingent plans upon a very obvious potential thing that could happen like that?
That's what I mean with the seawall. I was like, because again, I think seawalls are built where there's barriers out at sea that are also
We need
blocking
the
the water, and
scientists.
it's
We
not
need the
just
scientists.
one.
How are
thing.
you
We need a
guys already
scientist.
forgetting
We need a
Katrina?
scientist.
Jesus Christ.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
those
here-
walls
no,
were
here-
built for that exact thing to
Nick,
happen,
but
and then they failed.
The thing is, it's not like you're in the middle of an ocean. You built 10 feet down and built a wall around it to prevent the water.
Yeah.
That's what Arkham.
This
or
was
that's what Gotham
rising
looked like.
sea waters.
Gotham-
This
This
was
is
sea
also a
waters
movie.
were rising.
Gotham looked like it was.
It is also a movie.
Yeah,
It was
under
10
I need- I
10
need
feet
something to
underwater,
pick
and they just
apart.
had a wall preventing that
There
water
was
from
it
spilling
was like
over.
a
Yeah.
1970s sunken living room.
Yeah, we gotta bring those back. Those
They're pretty cool.
They were
Love
classy. They were
conversation
classy.
bits, yeah.
I would love a sunken living room. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Let's get it.
Let's bring
Yeah.
it back.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do this room.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
just
sink
we'll,
it.
we'll
Let's
build
sink this room right
around the set in the garage. We'll build up platforms so you have to walk down to the set.
Got it. So enough about the seawall. Let's talk about the arena with the incels. So we find out that Hitler.
Jesus.
We find out that Riddler. We find out that Hitler was on the dark web the entire time. No, we find out that Riddler is on
Hitler.
is on the dark web, and now I have heard some absolutely insane people say that scene with the dark web wouldn't make any. I mean, with the social media, wouldn't make any sense because 500 followers is not a lot. I was like,
That's enough.
500
hold
followers is enough.
on a second. They are not on social media.
They're
They
on
are
a
on whatever
They're on
he's
dark
hosting
web
himself
website, yeah.
on a
8chan.
dark web's 8chan, and there is a bunch of fringe
Yup.
radical incels, and that's 500 of those guys.
Yep.
That's a pretty sizable
enough.
fault. That's
That's
enough.
enough.
Gotham.
And, well, no,
Yeah.
not necessarily,
No?
because my my cousin and I were talking about this specifically because this was also, I've seen this, but this was what her and I were talking about. This was one of her gripes. She was like, and they would all be in Gotham. And I just went, how many people flew to DC on January 6th?
Fantastic point.
That's what I'm saying. So like it all makes sense that this would happen. And that's what I'm talking about, that it's relevant. It's in our politics. They made this movie before that even happened.
I didn't even
Pat,
draw
can you
that
tell
conclusion.
me who the number one worst take you heard about this was from?
I think it was Ludwig.
Oh,
What?
I was hoping you were going to say
Oh, he
Ben.
had bad takes
I really
on
wanted
this.
you to say Ben Shapiro, and then I was going to do this.
Oh.
I really don't like that guy.
I don't know if it's Ludwig. It was some streamer. I think someone called him Ludwig. I don't know. It was, either way,
What-
it was some
what was his
stream-
take?
His take was just like, I thought it would be better. Like I thought it would be more like, he's like in Batman's. He's like pointing out the strengths of the movie and what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to doing, and just saying he didn't like that. And that
Oh.
he thought it should be a totally different way. That's all he's doing. But people will shit on that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro though absolutely has
I really don't like that.
the worst take of this whole movie.
Ben
didn't hear it.
Shapiro,
What was it?
not a friend of the show.
I haven't
Enemy of
watched
the
it.
show.
We should watch his review of it.
I don't think it's out yet. I think he'll do it tomorrow.
All right.
Either way, I mean, like I don't know his schedule. I'm just saying, like, you know, he doesn't make content on the weekends.
Yeah.
Pat's his social media manager.
I get on Reddit. I get so many ads for Daily Wire, and
Me
I'm
too.
Like, I'm like, downvote this shit. I don't
yeah,
want.
I don't
this.
want fucking ads for Daily Wire. Either way, though,
You
and
are
it's
in
so
the
funny because they.
demographic.
30-year-old white man.
Yes.
It's so funny how like they advertise on Reddit too, because Reddit just despises everything that they put up. Either way, though,
What was Ben Shapiro's take?
I don't know what his exact details were, but what he said is, by the way, The Batman isn't a good movie, and I'm sure it's the same argument around. He has an argument around why rap music isn't real music, and of course, you know, it's just like, you know,
like my dad.
a racist pantomime.
Racially charged.
And I kind of feel like there was a line about white privilege in this movie that he didn't really like, and you know, he's
Oh,
also a racist,
And he
so-
didn't like the take
so-
on
I really
incels.
don't like that guy.
Yeah,
I
so
really
and I'm
wanted to make that
sure
known.
he, you know, he was pissed off that they were calling out his biggest supporters as the villains. You know, so but to me, and not fucking assholes like Ben Shapiro, this was fucking great, and I love every second of it. I will watch this when it's on HBO Max. I will get the 4K of this. I will watch it again and again and again. I love this. And by the way, I told you I wanted to save this to the show. You asked me why I went to the theater to see this. Oh wait, maybe we did talk about this. I had like 3 drinks last night, so maybe I don't remember too
I
much.
think we did talk about this, yeah.
Seeing a movie in a theater is the best way to see a movie.
Yeah.
If I love a movie as much as I have fallen for this one, I want to see it in the format it's meant to be seen in. So I got 3 whole servings of that, and it was better than the last time each time. I don't remember the last time that happened to me.
I
And
want to
seeing
go back
it,
and see it again in theater.
I will go again.
I
I will
definitely have
go
to see it
again.
again.
So if you
All
guys
right.
want to go, we'll go.
I'd love to go as a group this time.
Yeah, I would definitely go.
All right. I'm down.
I'm down to see this
Let's
in
do it.
another movie theater
Let's do it.
for 3 hours.
What are we doing later?
Not
We should just go right now.
Let's wrap this show up.
So there is one thing before I move on to tweets. There is one thing I did want to
Tweets.
talk to you guys about:
Quotes.
the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
What
remember
was
when
the
I said
actor's
earlier that I had like one complaint about the movie that was a spoiler? It was this.
Uh-huh.
It was this.
Okay.
That was a bad scene. That was the one scene that was bad.
Okay, I got one for you. I saw this scene. I had no idea that they were going to do this.
Yeah.
I thought you knew everything that was going to be in the movie. before
I had
you saw
no.
it.
As far as a plot's concerned, this isn't really. This is like, let's see if we could fit this in there. You know?
It should have been a post-credit scene.
It should have been a
It
post
should
credit
have
scene.
not been
It should
in
have
the
been
movie.
a post credit scene would have been fine.
Although I did, you'll bring this up. The Matt Reeves interview where he talks about it.
Did I send that to you?
Yeah, you sent
okay.
that to me.
He talked about the Joker specifically and why he decided to add that character because he wanted to, you know, build the Batman world around it. And he's like, and you can't do the Batman without Joker. It just can't be done.
Yeah.
And his take on the Joker this time is that instead of dropping into a vat of chemicals or instead of being like X, Y, and Z or whatever, right? He is a guy with a skin condition, and that's why you can see like his teeth because like it's eating away
Right.
at his
It's like
skin
a
and shit like that.
congenital disease where
yeah,
he's forced
and-
to smile.
And he's like had to grow up with that. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And that's why he is the way he is and why he has his perspective on the world. Now, I have total faith in Matt Reeves to make that interesting in this world in the sequels because there will be sequels.
Yeah. There's 2 more.
There's
signed
2
up,
more.
right? Yeah.
There's
At
2 more
least.
on the way. I think that they will make that, like I said, I think they can make that interesting. However, right now, as I was talking to Nick last night about this, I would prefer if they did a more conventional, like if they just adapted the Killing Joke to live action.
Got it.
You know,
okay.
like actually
Okay.
do the vat of chemicals.
Yeah.
Like actually do it in this universe. You know, and we were talking about this last night about how would Mr. Freeze or how would the Joker work in this world? And like I get Matt Reeves is going a certain way about it. What is that?
It's a beetle.
Oh.
Oh, it's a stink bug.
Stink bug.
Okay, it's
He's
not the worst.
harmless.
He's harmless. If it was a bee, I'd be like, we'll be
We're
back.
wrapping it up right now. Yeah.
I'm sorry, this motherfucker.
Killing Joke.
Killing
Yeah,
Joke.
the-
Yes,
the-
yes.
yeah.
We were talking about Mr. Freeze, and we were talking about like how would they do that, or like how would they do Joker in that way. And I said to Nick, and the point I made was that like, even though this is grounded in reality, it's still fantastical. It's still a fantasy story. You know what I mean? So like Mr. Freeze, I feel like Matt Reeves, especially in this world, he can really nail the fucking cold heart of ice that Mr. Freeze would have. But also, like, Mr. Freeze is a genius.
Yeah.
Like, give him the suit. Like, have him be the technology, but frame it in this world, you know? We've already bought into the idea of these characters. Now let's dress it up. You know, we don't
Yeah.
have to... We can go bigger. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we've set the stage. We can go bigger. And it still can be a self-contained Gotham City story. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice to see if they could do what Christopher Nolan did, but build on it and make it more and more fantastical. Like you're
Yes.
saying, it's like, can you heighten a real world beyond, you know, what
Right.
a Nolan did? And,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, that's end of spoilers for me. I don't have anything. I got some tweets here. And then I got some history and I got some trivia and some stuff. You guys wanna hit the ground running on this?
You want to do like
Sure,
the
I mean-
history and trivia first, and then
I got some tweets
You got
first,
some? Okay.
actually. Nick, if you wanna.
Vertical or
No,
landscape?
they're landscape. They're landscape, and I'll
landscape.
I'll just okay. So here we go. You wanna maybe we'll just move that pizza box real quick.
What do you
Okay.
think was in that Danish?
What do you think was in that?
Can we frame that and put it on the wall in the garage?
It will rot.
It will rot.
Not
yeah.
the top.
Okay, so Batman
off
was
the bottom.
great. Lots to talk about, but hard with spoilers. By the way, Ben Affleck is still by far the
All right,
best.
this
Batman.
segment is officially over.
King
Wow.
Richard, you
And then
did not do a
What
good
a
job.
take.
And then I'm sorry. I guess because I don't have the other screen up, it's not gonna be like it was. Okay, then we have. Yes, I knew we were friends for a reason. Ben is by far the best
Wow.
Batman. Love how close. I'm sorry. I think I got the wrong tweets, you guys. These are weird. After processing Robert Pattinson's performance as the Batman, I think I'm ready to admit Ben Affleck will never stop being topped as.
Oh my god.
I have muted Pat's microphone. We are done here. The show is over. Thanks for watching. Press any key. We appreciate it.
So then we have Ben Affleck is the GOAT. Why some people can't get over it.
It's
Nick.
so funny.
We have look at this Photoshop.
Oh my
Such
God.
ashamed we never got a live action Ben Affleck solo.
Oh my god.
After watching the Batman, I have to say Ben Affleck is still the greatest live action Batman, and Bruce Wayne Patterson is extremely a close second though.
Patterson.
I would say
Patterson.
Ben Affleck is still my favorite Batman, but Robert Pattinson is now my second favorite. And then there's another one of these tweets, but there's one in here for Nick. Oh, here we go. Funny how they both replaced Ben Affleck and did 10 times better.
Oh my god.
God
That's
damn.
hysterical.
This is
So many Snyder fans are so not into this Batman.
This is,
I do appreciate that side by side with Affleck and then the animated series.
yeah.
That he does look a lot like that.
Yeah, that's what it's
unfortunately
like.
his performance is flat.
That's
and dry.
his lane. That's the lane they adapted for that one.
Yeah.
They
you know?
tried to adopt.
So
gave it a shot.
Okay, so let's do a little history lesson, you guys, because I feel like you guys will be kind of shocked to find out that this was originally like supposed to be written, directed, producing, and starring Ben Affleck.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't know that.
So,
The best Batman of all time.
Yeah.
you know, obviously
All
he
right,
got
Mike, you're
Shout out to the
officially
goat.
muted.
so
Shout out to the goat.
you know, so pretty much the story goes that after Justice League, after Dawn of Justice or whatever that fucking thing is, he was offered the responsibility of shepherding in a new era of Batman if he wanted to do it. So pretty much what happened is pretty much when like he wanted to do like a horror film, like his script was in the same vein as Matt Reeves' script. So like where it was like a built-in Gotham mythos, and it took a lot of inspiration from like the Arkham games where like it was already a living, breathing city and everything. So I feel like that's the lane that Reeves kind of adopted from his original script. Either way, Affleck, he began to have doubts about directing and starring. You know, imagine having to set up shots and then get in that suit and come back to set.
Yeah.
So he was like open to having someone else direct. He still produced, wrote, and starred in it. Fresh off of fucking Planet of the Apes for Warner Brothers. I remember at the time, I actually said, if there is one director I'd like to see pick up Batman with Ben Affleck, it's Matt Reeves. And then I remember you sent me a fucking article actually back in the day that said Warner Brothers confirms Matt Reeves is going to direct the Ben Affleck Batman movie. So I was really like, holy shit, this is like going to be fucking incredible. Like I really like this iteration of Batman. I really like the actor that's playing him. And I
Batman
fucking
of all time.
Yeah, and I fucking
Dan,
love.
you are
Danny
muted.
is now muted. You have 30 seconds timeout.
I fucking love Matt Reeves. Like I love those Apes movies.
Yeah.
So it all made sense.
I love those apes.
Give me a monkey.
Those monkeys really got my
So,
juices
however,
flowing.
in January 2017, Affleck announced he was stepping down as director, but still planned to star and produce. He initially said he had stepped down to focus more on starring as Batman, but soon stated that he had been unable to get the script where he needed to be and felt that someone else should have a shot at it.
He was just trying to get back with J-Lo.
That was his focus.
Yeah, he did it.
He was also was he going through his
He's got his
divorce? at the
priorities.
Well,
time?
I'm getting there.
He was
Okay.
drinking a lot
So,
of Dunkin'.
Affleck later decided that he didn't think he enjoyed
loves his
directing the
Dunkin'.
film and felt that it should be directed by someone who would love working on it. At the time, Warner Brothers was reevaluating its approach to superhero films, yada, yada, yada. That's for me. The Batman, though, the original scene... Oh, yeah, there was you guys know the post-credit scene from like the fucking Justice League... who's his name? I have one eye and I'm with the bald guy on the boat.
Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw. Deathstroke.
Deadshot.
Oh,
Deathstroke.
sorry. My bad.
Deathstroke.
Yeah. Okay.
Deadshot's another guy.
So this is where Matt Reeves comes in. So there's Matt Reeves, Matt Ross, Ridley Scott, George Miller, Denis Villeneuve, and Fede Alvarez were all considered as replacements for Ben Affleck to
Dude,
direct.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Fucking George Miller.
That-
Yeah.
Reeves, a longtime Batman fan, he quickly moved to the top of the shortlist, was entered into negotiations to direct after a meeting with Warner Brothers in 2017. So they lost Affleck in January. They got Matt Reeves in February. Warner Brothers sent a copy of the script, and he felt Ben Affleck's script was an awesome script and totally valid. And I've heard that people who have read the script, like in the industry, have said like, yeah, this would have been a great Batman movie.
Okay.
However, that's not the movie he wanted to make. He wanted to make a movie that he wanted 100% creative control over, and that he wanted to specifically do
It's fine. Keep
do
going.
a younger Batman. Like that was the avenue he wanted
Right.
to go in.
So right off the bat, he's just telling
Right
Ben
off the
Affleck, "I don't want you."
Yeah. So, he wanted an auteur, Toby Emmerich, the chair of Warner Brothers, to be like, I want an auteur, a true auteur, like Christopher Nolan
an auteur.
isn't one.
Yeah.
To make the next Batman series. So, and he was impressed by his initial ideas of a detective, of a ground-based story, really dark. And so the only hick in negotiations to like get him signed on was his salary. He wanted more money because he just did the Apes movies for them for like pittance compared to like what he was going to do. So, they began working on a script in March 2017. Affleck still attached at this point, and he was even spoke to Affleck during the writing process, and Jeff Johns too, who's the head of DC Films. They reworked the story to focus on Batman in his earlier years as a vigilante, and they planned to cast a younger Batman. And they wanted to replace Affleck by 2017 in this movie.
Okay.
They still wanted him for other DCEU stuff.
Interesting.
But they just didn't want him in this one.
Gentlemen, even though this is in a separate universe, DC officially classifies the Batman takes place on Earth 2, which is a big fucking alternate universe, alternate reality in the DC comics. So they're building out their multiverse too. So even though this is separate from everything else, they said and even though Batman characters are only set to be introduced in this universe right now, this does take place in a world where there's other super characters.
Right. Okay. But at this point, these super characters don't really.
No one
We don't see them on
Yeah,
screen.
we
no one
just don't
cares.
see
Don't
them.
fucking
Gotham.
they're just leaving the door open.
Okay.
They're just
That
leaving
would be so cool to see. I know Matt Reeves doesn't have any interest in bringing in Superman,
right.
or anybody else. But imagine, rather than having these Marvel type movies where everything is leading up to interconnected, if they just exist in the same universe and they're very small scale and they're doing their own thing, maybe every once in a while there's a crossover, but there's just like a running vibe through all of them, and they don't have to interconnect all the
I
time.
want a Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson,
You want
Spider
a
Keaton.
Homecoming.
I want a Batverse.
You want
for
a
this.
Batverse.
Yeah.
No.
So
The Batterverse.
Then we can find out.
So
who
in
really
August,
is the best
Affleck
Batman.
in
Then
August
we can prove
2018,
Ben Affleck is the best
Affleck
Batman.
went into rehab for alcohol abuse and was considered unlikely that he would reprise his role after that. Untrue, he went on to play Batman 3 more times after that. He hoped to finish the script within a couple of weeks and was aiming to begin production in early to mid 2019. Reeves submitted the first draft the following month. 2 other writers contributed to the script, and then they specifically pulled from, like I said, Year One, No Man's Land, and Long Halloween, which are all great runs. I highly recommend you guys check them out. There's also great animated movies on them too.
Yes.
Okay.
So, either way though, in January 2019, they set the release date to June 25th, 2021, and Affleck was confirmed to no longer be starring. Affleck explained that he stepped down due to the combination of factors, including his divorce from Jennifer Garner, tumultuous production of Justice League, and his lack of enjoyment in the role at that point, and his alcohol problems. Elaborating on his Justice League experience, he just said he just didn't particularly like it, and that he thinks that, c'est la vie, have a good time.
Okay. And he's also he's a big enough star where he's just like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
I
So,
can walk away from
I don't
this
need to go
easily.
too much into the writing of the film, but I do think it's interesting how they cast Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much by May 2019, Robert Pattinson, Nicholas Hoult, Armie Hammer, and Aaron Taylor Johnson
Wow.
were on the short list to replace Affleck as Batman, with Pattinson as the front runner. He was never not going to be Batman, though. Matt Reeves said he was his first choice. It's the reason they called him in, and he was very happy when he heard that he was interested in the production to begin with.
I recently, I don't know if you saw this. I saw an article this morning that said Matt Reeves got freaked out when he saw that Pattinson was going to be in Tenet. And he goes, oh no, now he's friends with Christopher Nolan. He's not going to want to be my Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
There's actually a really good, I was going to wait till trivia, but I'll bring it up now. On the set of Tenet, Pattinson had to leave for a day, and he said he had a family emergency, right?
Yeah, okay.
And really, he was going to the screen test.
This is all. We've all been there. You
Yeah.
got an interview for your new
He
job,
goes,
and
I
you
got a
have to take
doctor's
off from your old job.
Pattinson
I got
had
a
to
doctor's
lie
appointment.
to Christopher Nolan about it, but Nolan, who is no stranger to Batman and Warner Brothers, immediately figured it out. He said, "It's fun." Pattinson quote said, "It's funny because Chris is so secretive about everything to do with his movies, and then I had to be really secretive about the Batman stuff. So I had to lie to Chris about having to go to the screen test. I said I had a family emergency." And as soon as I said it was a family emergency, he stopped and he said, "You're doing the Batman audition, aren't you?" And he goes, when Pattinson was told that he won the role of Batman a day before principal photography began before Tenet, he was surprised that Nolan already knew and congratulated them, although Pattinson hadn't told anybody about it yet, because Christopher Nolan is that tied to Warner
yeah.
Brothers at this time that
okay.
I'm positive that Christopher Nolan, he didn't do anything creatively or put his input in or anything, but I'm 100% sure he got updates on this project.
Yeah.
Because
He had a source.
made the last definitive,
Yeah.
and he still worked with that studio when they
Yeah.
made it. Now he's over at Universal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know.
And he probably had some type of a source as well who was just feeding him information.
Dude, when you make that many
Yeah.
movies, you're friends with the heads of
Exactly,
the studio. They were probably
exactly.
sipping on fucking martinis in
Yep.
somebody's pool, and we're just like, "Hey, how's the new Batman movie?"
Yeah, how's that coming along?
And then one of the
Who are you
producers,
looking at for
one of the
it?
producers who just isn't like, he's just there. He's just a body on the board.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's that?" You know. So yeah. So either way, Reeves considered Pattinson. What is that?
I don't know what
that
that
sound?
is. Hold on.
It's something.
That's on your mic.
I still hear it.
I still hear it too.
Oh.
It's your computer.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can mute it if you want.
Okay.
Go ahead and just mute that
There we
channel. Yeah. Pretty much, Pattinson was, he was eschewed from large franchises after Twilight because he just didn't want to be in the limelight anymore. He also wasn't in Marvel movies, and that's what made him really attractive. Aaron Taylor Johnson had already been in something. Had already been in a Marvel movie, and Nicholas Hoult was playing Beast in all of the Fox X-Men movies.
Okay.
However, the reason that he was also considered is because people didn't really know what his face looked like because he was under all that makeup and CGI. So they wanted a
really
fresh.
have a Batman face.
Yeah,
like-
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately they went with the guy who has the jaw for it. But
Jawline more chiseled than his gutters.
so Pattinson originally kept obsessing over it, checking up on the project. Matt Reeves actually said that his performance in another film he did in 2017 is what made him want him to be his Bruce Wayne. So all along, it was like these two were on a journey to find each
Right.
to find each other. And
So were they together on the Batmobile on set?
oh
Is
my
that,
god,
That could have been what it was.
and Matt Reeves is just trying to cover it up. Damn, all this time. Either way, though, Pattinson was cast and he got a salary of $3 million. So hey, man, $3 million to be
That's-
Batman. It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
In his audition, he wore Val Kilmer's bat suit and he wore George Clooney's cowl.
Oh,
And
I thought it was George
at his
Clooney's
screen
Batsuit.
test,
No.
all the people who have been working on these costumes at Warner Brothers, they rolled out this big cage with all the suits in them, and they were just like, "All right,
Get in the
start
cage.
Get in the cage.
and they just was like, "Start putting them on." Start figuring out what way.
It's
How do
like,
you like the bat nipples?
I think he mentioned that.
money thing, like you get in the glass case and the money blows around. They do that, but with bat suit
bat
pieces, and you got to
suits.
grab whatever you can.
Just get hit in the face.
So, some interesting casting choices. He trained in obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and everything, but here's the real fucking kicker. Originally, Colin Farrell wasn't supposed to be the Penguin. It was
He was
supposed to be
Catwoman.
It was it was supposed to be Jonah Hill as the Penguin.
What?
Really? But
That
Jonah
would've been
Hill wanted
great.
$10 million and they wouldn't give it to him.
Damn.
What a $10
How
million.
much did Colin Farrell get?
Not 10 million, dude.
Yeah.
If Batman got 3 million, Colin Farrell probably
Maybe
got
a
the same.
million? You think he got whatever.
Maybe close.
Yeah.
But yeah,
$10 million.
Zoe Kravitz, this is her second time playing Catwoman because she voiced Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, okay. So it was a perfect fit.
And she auditioned for the character in The Dark Knight Rises, but was deemed to being too urban. Can you believe that?
Wait, for which one?
For Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises.
That's what year was that?
2012.
That's very 2012
Yes.
of them.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
Um,
bad.
and he chose her over other actresses that auditioned, such as Ana de Armas,
Okay.
and then Ella
I could see her doing that.
Balinsky, and
But like Zoe Kravitz feels like she was born to play this role.
and
I-
Zazie Beetz also auditioned.
She would have been pretty good.
I think so.
Alicia Vikander too from Tomb Raider. She's good. I like her. She's
don't-
good in that movie.
Zoe Kravitz did a great
yeah,
job.
clearly the best out of them.
I like Ana de Armas.
Yeah, she would have been good. I think she
I
would have
just-
been
I
good,
don't-
but
I
I
don't know if
just
she would have
Broken
been.
accent the entire time.
No, I mean Zoe Kravitz has that like kind of like she's a lot more edgy.
Yeah.
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 And it
She's got a little bit of Lenny Kravitz to her.
No pants ripping, showing the wiener.
Hanging dong.
Wiener.
So yeah, pretty much that's how it all this is how this all came together. Andy Serkis he cast because Alfred didn't have a big role in the script, and in between directing Venom 2, he had time to fill that out. They did all those movies together for years, Matt Reeves and
He
Andy
played
Serkis.
all those monkeys.
He played all those monkeys. So
I like Andy Serkis really has sewn what is it? Gold from straw. What is it?
yeah.
Like he really has turned being the mocap guy into a huge actor. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's almost like when you act in mocap, it's like, wow, he's actually a really good actor without the mocap. Crazy.
Paul Dano was cast based off of his performance in
Prisoners. Okay.
Which
Okay.
I don't know. Have you guys? Has everyone here seen?
No.
Oh my god,
No.
you have
I know
to watch
it's amazing.
It. Hugh
yeah.
Jackman is
What if
so
you were like
fucking
it
good
based
in
on
that
his
movie.
performance in Love and Mercy?
Based on his performance in Little Miss Sunshine
So
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
the other, so
As
let's
a mute.
let's do some bat Rivia.
But trivia.
Guys.
But trivia.
Here we go. Originally, the reported budget was $100 million, but it's now estimated to really be about $180 million. So this movie's not as cheap as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, originally you said I think 90 million
$90 million.
or something.
Yeah, 90 to 100. While most sequences were shown utilizing shot using green screen technology. However, some sequences were shot, such as vast wide shots of the city, were filmed utilizing Disney's LED technology, the Volume, the same thing they make all the Star Wars shows with.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the filmmakers were forced to go to actual sets more than locations, as they would not be available due to the amount of people required. The production team would also have to be as far as possible from the actors on set. So, Matt Reeves' table would be somewhere in a control room, having to direct the actors with earpieces, watching them on monitors. I'm not sure if that's every scene, because I've seen some production stills of him like going up to Robert and like taking the mask off and being like, "Hey, motherfucker, do that." And then
I'm sure that's what the protocol was, but they're not following that.
and then, but I've heard that like he had an earpiece in that cowl, and like he would direct the actors through a radio on, and he would just watch them on the monitors because that's where he's watching them anyway.
Yeah.
That's how
He's seeing what the camera's seeing.
They wrote it into the actual movie with like the little contact lenses and the in-ear piece.
Yeah.
They were like, in case those show up.
Paul Dano's iPhone speech at the end took 226 takes before Dano was satisfied with it. Reportedly, Reeves was happy that he was exploring his character, but admits it became Paul just making a movie on his iPhone at some point. Because he was like, let me try it this way, let me try it this way, let me try it this way, and then I'll try it on and like.
And which speech is this?
This is like they literally had
like
an
final
iPhone
one.
set up in a dark room, and they were like, "You're gonna act to this iPhone."
Oh, wait, but which one was this?
Probably the end one.
Oh, okay, when he's doing
Yeah.
it to 4chan?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, not the bomb scene?
No.
I figured that would be the one.
So it was confirmed early on that Robert Pattinson had signed a 3-picture deal with Warner Bros., meaning that this is the first film of a new Batman trilogy. This will be the second Batman trilogy ever following Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. So they are committed to making 3 films of this, unless the second one sucks. Matt Reeves stated that his version of the Riddler was partly inspired by the infamous serial killer, the Zodiac.
Especially with all the clues, like the cipher.
This is the first version of Batman to directly address the black eye makeup under the cowl. In previous versions of the film, the makeup just disappeared when Bruce took his mask off. Matt Reeves said, "I just love the idea of taking off the mask, and under that there's the sweating, dripping, and the whole theatricality of becoming this character." You know what I mean? Because like when he takes that, like you see the fucking eyes.
Yeah, like he's got the
Just the
makeup
Black
is just-
Parade, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
And those teeth.
Matt Reeves has stated that Colin Penguin's takes
Colin
Penguin.
Colin Penguin.
Tim
Apple. Colin Farrell's Penguin takes inspiration from the character Fredo from The Godfather.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like that
Oh,
would
Jesus.
upset a Chris Cuomo very much. So Robert Pattinson revealed while screen testing for the role, he sneakily took a selfie in the batsuit as a memento, quoting, "just in case it didn't work out."
I also saw that. I guess apparently when he would get dressed, I think I may have sent this to you guys. When he would put on the batsuit, he was given like socks to wear.
Yeah.
He loved the socks so much that he just kept them, and to the point that WB had to reach out to him and say, "Please stop stealing the socks."
Did you see the producer's quote on that? She
No.
said, "Yeah, I mean, like I had to talk to him and be like, Rob, it's fine if you take a couple, but we've been shooting for over a year. It's starting to pile up." He had like 156 pairs or
socks.
something.
You know those socks you get with a tuxedo?
Yeah.
The really nice thin ones?
Oh,
I'm picturing those where it's like, you don't get those at the regular store.
Well,
Those
he
are
stopped
special
wearing socks because then he was like, "Hey, you know what? I watched this podcast and we can just fill the suit with Vaseline and and I'll just slip my way
slide around.
Matt Reeves described his Batman as a mix between detective story, action movie, and psychological thriller. 100% would agree with that.
It was.
Matt Reeves take about the Batmobile. We haven't talked about the Batmobile yet.
Oh wow,
yeah.
we
We
really
haven't talked about the
We should-
chase scene.
That
Yeah,
chase
let's talk
scene.
about
Oh.
that actually. Let's
That
go.
was
Let's get that.
awesome.
That is
Pat, real
easily.
quick question, technical thing here. This camera keeps going way out of focus. Any advice for me?
Right.
Put your hand over
It's
it.
Okay, all right.
Put your hand and it should refocus.
This one.
No,
Oh, that one?
that one.
Center one. It's fine right now, but just
I don't know. That's fine. Get it.
sorry
let's
for
get,
to interrupt your flow.
let's
there.
get out of
that,
this.
cut that, cut
Let's
that,
get
cut
out
that,
of this
cut that,
room.
cut that.
That's my fix for that.
cut
I
that,
can't
cut
wait to
that,
get
cut
out of
that,
here.
cut The car
chase.
Yeah.
That is easily one of the greatest car chase sequences I've
awesome.
seen in my life.
I remember at one point I was physically thinking, "This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
This is such a great."
That was
scene.
one of those where I was like just open mouth smiling, watching
Yeah.
the whole thing, being like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!"
Like
Exactly.
the
Like, give
car's
me more of this.
introduction, dude, when he revs the engine and gives that bitch a head start.
and that muscle car was so cool.
I got
So
you.
cool.
I
Yeah.
got you, you freaking psycho. He just, dude.
I will say, I did get a little bit lost towards the end of the car chase, right before the explosion. It felt like the geography kind of like I wasn't sure who was where, what was going on.
I
and
get that.
I did get lost
Yeah.
a little bit in the
I think
close-ups.
that's
Yeah.
intentional. Like,
maybe
It
that's
got a
true.
little claustrophobic.
I will
you
love-
didn't know who was where and what
But
position.
again, because I think that's the whole everything in this movie, like you said, is so damn deliberate that I feel it's like
I was
that
gonna
was done
say,
in there for the tension.
The cinematography, they put the camera on the bottom of the car behind the
Yeah.
rear wheel when he fucking,
Yeah.
he like handbrake turns to a stop.
Yeah.
And fucking Penguin's car just flies over him and
Yep.
just
Flips,
bouncing. I was like, oh my God. It's fucking incredible.
I love that he
You
walked
feel
away
it.
from that with no injury. Like,
Yeah, well,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a big
Yeah.
fat guy, so,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
it'll be
even
got
all right.
more
cushion.
so
He's got cushion.
Yeah. He's got cushion, and it was
And
pushing.
it was pushing.
for
Yeah.
the pushing.
You know, there's always the silly things. Colin Farrell went to Starbucks in his prosthetics. Nobody knew who he was. Haha.
Oh, that's funny.
And you know, just other fun stuff like the movie's working title was once just Vengeance.
oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think.
Well, how
they-
do you sequel that?
Vengeance 2.
Vengeance 2.
Back with a vengeance.
More vengeance.
How about some
Vengeance,
vengeance?
sir.
Here's some vengeance.
Back for Vengeance? All right.
It was also called The Backman.
The Back
At
Man.
one
The
point,
Bachman.
Robert
Good.
Pattinson.
Man, fighting those incels was cool though.
It
on
was
the top
awesome.
of the stadium.
The fighting in this was brutal. Absolutely
brutal.
You felt every single punch.
The part where he takes the rifle and he whips the one dude in the face, and then he goes up under the guy and hits him in the chin, and then shoves him into the fucking
Yeah.
guardrail. That was awesome.
What about when he grapples those dudes through their femurs?
And they both go,
and they both scream.
and he
grappled
rips them in the air.
Oh my god,
Dude, there's
What
one
about when he
scene-
took those steroids?
yeah.
Well-
well, was that steroid
or
or
Venom
Bane juice?
was that Bane juice?
It
Yeah.
could have been Bane
Oh.
juice.
I
You
would
said
believe
vape
I would believe it's Bane
guy
juice.
vapes.
I would believe it's Bane juice
And
in
then
this world.
like it gets out of control in another
Yeah.
movie? Okay.
Yeah.
I think next sequel we're gonna see he's addicted to Bane juice. We're now gonna get addict Batman.
Can we just call it BJ? Oh,
Yeah.
So he's addicted to
BJs.
BJs?
He's
addicted to BJs.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna
All right.
get him just scratching all the time.
I'll give you a BJ for some BJ.
Dude, he's rich. He can afford his BJs.
Alfred, get in here.
Alfred, give me my BJs.
The bat hole, Alfred.
Dorothy, where
Fill
are
it.
you?
Fill the bat hole, Alfred.
I love how he just has like a spot in his suit already to
Yeah.
just inject himself with BJs.
Well, he's allergic to shellfish, so he's
Yeah,
Oh,
so he's got an
so-
EpiPen on him.
Oh, which actually I do also want to talk about just the utility belt in general. It had that. The utility on the suit where the bat symbol came off
batarang.
and became it became a batarang and also just became a knife. I just love the utility.
A letter
that the suit-
opener.
A letter opener,
Yeah.
yeah.
I liked his big ass like thing on his like Assassin's Creed almost. Like,
Oh, yeah.
What was
Oh
that?
yeah.
that I think it was the electric.
Oh, that
thing
was
he
the
shot
taser?
The fuck
Okay.
out of that guy.
I do like the sequence where so he's fighting all those guys, and he's like the one part where he dodges, he like leans back, and then the one guy shoots and the bullet goes in between them, and then the one guy pulls him forward, and instead he pulls him back one more time, and this time the gun that the guy that Batman's holding has goes to the side and goes off and kills the dude over there.
Oh, I didn't
and then
even see that.
Batman
That's
fucking like decks this dude, throws him off. after that, he runs at this dude and just tackles him off of the fucking beam and fucks
and
him
then
up on the
spins him, yeah.
swings around
Yeah, that
and
was
does that
awesome.
thing where he rolls and like Batman took shins to the face in that
Yeah.
scene and knocked that guy over, and then they got up and tried to drag him off, and he fucks them up
Yeah.
again. Like
Also,
that last action sequence was awesome.
Really good.
And the whole movie, we're also looking at bulletproof Batman.
Yeah.
This is bulletproof
when he
Batman.
went to the 44 below at the end when he drops down from the ceiling, which I was
Yeah.
very happy we got one. I am
Right.
the I am the
Yeah,
knight like
yeah,
type
yeah.
of deal, and he fucks them
He
all
fucks
up.
them.
He
the
fucks them
whole scene with the muzzle fire.
with the muzzle flashes and like the bullets ricocheting off
Yeah.
everything. There's one part where a bullet ricochets off of Batman's fucking cowl
Yeah.
and hits somebody,
Damn.
but in the next scene, that guy puts the fucking shotgun right up to his mouth, or no, right up to his head, and I was
Oh.
like, but is it gonna go? Like maybe at this range it'll go through, because when
At
he
point
takes
blank,
the
yeah.
when he
It
takes the
would go
cowl
through.
off in one scene, it's soft.
all
It's
like- yeah.
like leather. You know,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
really like
It's not bulletproof.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it is bulletproof, but I don't think
it's like soft material, like
yeah,
soft
you,
Kevlar.
you can't just put a
Which, by the
shotgun-
way,
Yeah,
that's not
shotgun
how
at
being
point blank
bulletproof
range.
works. You can't take any of those shots and still be standing.
Well,
Like,
that's
That's why when he gets shot with the shotgun at the end, he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, he
And he's
broke
not getting up,
multiple
like-
ribs.
yeah, yeah.
I want to just go back to the tech for a second. So all of his gadgets, he's got the utility belt, he's got the gadgets. They're
Shark
so
repellent.
diverse. He's got his shark repellent. They're very diverse. Whereas if you look at the Tim Burton movies, basically all of his gadgets are just grappling hooks.
right.
Did somebody rip ass?
No, that was outside.
I think it was Liz.
Goddamn, Liz.
All of his, Tim Burton, all of his gadgets
She
are
took a
grappling
pizza
hooks.
for herself.
And then the Dark Knight trilogy, he just mainly relies on his vehicles, not so much on gadgets. It's like bombs and smoke bombs and
Yeah.
shit.
I
So
get that.
Really, really diverse use of gadgets.
Yeah. And a squirrel suit.
And a squirrel
And a
suit.
squirrel suit that he just zips up.
That he should have been in the hospital after he
You guys,
crashed
you
that.
guys want to be honest?
dead. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like obviously the squirrel suit is like a practical way of doing that.
Yeah.
But the Batman way, the way I keep saying like I would have done the whole. Maybe
cape.
let's get the cape just attached to the arms and the
Yeah.
heels of his boots,
Yeah.
and then you have the regular Batman
no,
glide.
he
But no,
zipped up.
this cape wraps around him, and there's got to be motors in it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I
There
mean?
had to
Like,
be like air, like
Yeah.
pumps or whatever.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And then also, as he was trying to like thread the needle between the bus and the bridge, I was like, there's no way he's going to do it. There's no way they're going to realistically show me him going through. But I was ready to think that he was about to go
And just
through.
smash his
And
face.
then he
I
just
thought he was
smashes
going to
through.
land on top of the bus.
Yeah, and just don't deploy the parachute. Just like grab the top of the bus and ride it
Just
along.
glide,
I
just
remember-
glide
You
along
still
the
would've hit
bus.
hard.
I remember,
Oh yeah,
I remember
you can't land safely just in a squirrel suit.
when we saw that, and after he like ate shit, I remember he gets up and I was just like, look at those champions. He's just got those fucking
He just got those parachute
sweatpants on.
pants
You know
on.
what I mean?
He's got vanilla ice pants.
One thing I didn't notice the first time or the second time, was when they go to the car to find the thumb drive. The reason they know what car it is, I was like, why would the Riddlers just stab a pair of shears in there? And that's when I realized that's what he cut
they
the
cut
thumb
the
off
thumb
off.
with.
Yeah. That was
I
the-
didn't
Oh,
know.
yeah, yeah.
murder weapon.
Yeah,
Thumb
exactly.
weapon.
Yeah. I had no idea. I was an idiot. So,
Thumb drive.
before we wrap this up, obviously we have clip of the week, but let's just talk about the future. And man, is it crazy? No, so there's 2 HBO Max series that are going to be written and produced by Matt Reeves. One
Batman?
is starring Colin Farrell as the Penguin. He's confirmed to come back, and it's about how he's going to rise from his position currently in the Falcone crime syndicate to make the Penguin pretty much.
How he's going to be a big man.
Yeah, how he's you think he's a
Big
big
man.
man?
And how he's going to, what is he? He sprays people's asses.
Yeah,
I
I'll
did-
spray gas.
I did see that one. They're looking to make it like it's going to be TVMA, like it's going to be R-rated.
I
series.
have heard it pitched as.
Remember how you were saying that you were glad that he wasn't sexualized and gross? That's what you're
Well,
going to
yeah,
get.
they're
You're
gonna
gonna
make
get a
him. They're gonna
sexualized
turn him
roast
into
Batman.
Tony
Yeah, he's
Soprano.
gonna be Tony
That's
Soprano.
the
Okay.
deal.
Okay.
And then the other one is going to be based on Arkham Asylum and talk about its inmate population.
That's cool.
Now, what I'm hoping for, now listen, with these 2 TV shows, I fucking am sick and tired of that shit where they're like, let's do a Batman TV show
Without Batman.
I've been complaining
yeah.
about this for years. For years, I have talked about this. I think they're starting to wake up to the fact that if they're going to throw millions of dollars at these streaming shows, they got to step it up.
They got to throw Batman at it.
The only way they're going to differentiate themselves from other shows about Batman without Batman is to have Batman at least in 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You know, at the very least,
It's
you
got
can
to
get
build
him.
up to Batman.
Exactly. So at least like they're gonna reference him. He's intricate in all of these details and everything. You know what I mean? Like there's not gonna be any big mystery that gets solved to the GCPD without Batman.
Yeah, right.
You know. So the Arkham Asylum inmate show, I heard a good idea that maybe they should make it an anthology show and they should show how that character got to be an
That would be
inmate
awesome.
at Arkham. Maybe do an episode about the doctors, how they came to work at Arkham or why they want to work there.
Harleen Quinzel.
Harleen
Harley
Quinzel. And maybe listen, Barry, whatever his fuck
Let's
Joker.
see how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce his
and
name.
Paul Dano. Well, probably Paul Dano. He's a little bit more high profile. But you could do an episode on them too. You know what I mean? Just figure it out. Figure it out.
I put the idea out there. It's on you now.
So the other thing
Barry
is that
Barry Kogan.
Kogan,
Okay.
but I also heard it said Kyohan or something. Like that.
Kyogen.
Barry Kogan.
Oh, do we wait? Is this the same guy?
As drug.
Wait, hold on. Remember this guy?
Looking at how to pronounce these names.
yeah.
But often confusing Irish names in particular.
Okay, well,
names,
you're-
so make sure to stay tuned. To the
We're still
channel, however
recording.
You say it. Barry Keon.
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 Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Barry Keoghan.
Keon.
Barry Keon.
Keon.
So there's 2 sequels confirmed for
We're
the Batman.
still recording.
There's 2 sequels confirmed for the Batman. Pattinson, Reeves, and every major cast member is slated to return for both of them.
Cool. Okay.
Even mustache.
I don't know about him.
He's a major cast member, so yeah.
Oh, also, by the way, before we end this review, I fucking told you guys that guy blows up, and I was like, oh, by the way, that dude blows up in the
The
trailer.
guy with the bomb around his neck blows up.
Wow.
And you guys were
What a
like,
call.
oh, really? I didn't see. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's in the trailer. Remember, we tried to look for it and
we
everything.
watched the
Call.
trailer and we didn't find it in the trailer?
It's in the trailer.
I really thought we were gonna get the contraption from Wild Wild West that like cuts your head off.
I thought so,
he was
too.
gonna get decapitated.
Yeah.
Well, no, the contraption from
Well,
Wild
now,
Wild West
see here.
fires a magnetic buzzsaw
Yeah.
through the air, and that.
But similar premise.
Yeah.
Maybe more of a saw
Wild,
kind of trap.
Wild West.
What a
Something
fucking
good
Wild,
came
Wild
out of that
West.
movie.
Yeah.
That was a bomb in
And it
this
was-
movie.
And
And it
giant
wasn't
robotic
enough
spider.
for Nick, apparently. Wild Wild West tempered Nick's expectations on torture devices.
Well, now see here, boy.
Yeah,
Some
it was
damn
all
good Burger King toys.
all good. Anything
Actually,
else?
yeah.
Anything else we have to mention before we move on to clip of the week?
No, I think we really pulled this guy apart.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Go
Yeah.
see it.
Go see it.
It's 3 hours, and it doesn't feel like 3 hours.
I totaled up our scores. We gave it a 9.5 collectively.
Great,
Okay.
cool.
There we go.
Love us some math.
Thanks for the math.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
So I tried to find something as Batman central as possible.
I sent you a backup
but
just in case.
but
Just in
A
case.
bat up.
But I think this one's pretty good. She tries to be like her favorite superhero.
She pisses when she farts.
Pisses when she farts. Make sure you unmute the.
Good call there, Patrick.
So here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Maybe this doesn't have any sound. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh,
she's just
what
like,
is she-
oh,
what are
oh,
we-
no!
That was quite a recovery. I mean, she didn't stick the landing,
she
but
didn't stick it, but she broke less bones
Yeah.
than she probably would have. How
And,
high
like,
do we think that is?
What's
Start-
wild
start
about
it over,
this
start it.
is that,
For those listening, there's a woman in
is
a
that-
net hovering over a hard concrete ground.
The woman's
there's a
name is
little,
Annette.
and the other thing is that this is not a net that will break your fall, but it won't catch you.
No.
And- The other thing is that look at the reason why she lets go. She's like, ready? Here it comes. Oh, I don't want
Oh.
anybody to see my hooch.
Oh, she's
You
trying
know?
to fix her pants.
Do you
Trying to pick
blame her?
I mean, I don't blame her, but I mean,
I get
think
it.
about you're dangling over something. Do you really
Yeah.
want to let
But
go?
Yeah.
you're expecting that thing to hold you up.
Well, yeah.
Look at that
there you
reaction.
go.
Look at that
And there-
reaction.
Also,
you go.
yeah, she's got a good grip. Not good enough, but a good grip on the fence there.
Oh,
She did gymnastics in high school for sure.
She tore her shoulder. Just
How many times
completely.
did she flip
Can we see
there?
that again?
Yeah.
Just real quick
the
in 60.
fall.
Just keep over and over again.
Oh,
Look how
boy.
quick she grabs the side here. Ready? Boom.
Bam. Yep.
She almost caught the ledge there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She had a finger on it.
Can we
but
see
not
it in
enough.
reverse?
But ultimately, she made a mistake, you guys. She made a mistake. She was like,
Went to go fix
uh-oh.
her pants.
She's like, human dignity is
Look,
better.
that is not her
than-
fault.
That's reaction.
Yeah,
She
but
got
dude,
it.
That's
She got it in there in the
Okay,
first
I get
place.
that it's reactionary, but also at the same time, it's just like, yo,
You
I
gotta
don't
realize
care
the
what's
risk
hanging out
you're
of me
taking,
if
yeah.
I'm hanging off the side of a building.
But here's the thing: she was expecting to just like be on that net. I'm assuming without holding anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I
lay
mean,
on it.
listen, she could have made multiple mistakes. Okay, she.
That's a great
The
point.
decision was mistake number
The
one.
decision was
That was
to
mistake
get out
number
here.
one.
That's
Yep.
that's the first
First mistake.
The second mistake
Wearing
is
those shorts.
Wearing those
Yep.
shorts. You know that those are not tactical. This is a very
Yeah,
tactical
exactly.
situation.
You need yoga pants.
Number 3 is pulling them down, letting go of your support, but
Yeah.
ultimately trusting this net to hold you up.
Yeah,
when I
That's
don't,
the biggest
Yeah.
When
mistake.
I think this net is to keep baseballs from
I
falling.
was gonna say
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know where this
or like
is.
the batting cage or something.
Or like birds out.
Yeah.
Play that in reverse, Pat.
That's
We got to
the-
see that in reverse.
That's the sequel to
Knives Out.
to Knives
Knives
Out.
Out.
Birds
Birds
out.
Birds.
See it? Okay. She's having a great time.
Nope,
No longer
and it's
having a good
over.
time. Bam.
She kind of helicopters her way
like
down,
does a full 900.
and now she's
That was
fine.
graceful.
And now
love
she's fine.
Damn.
One of your
Alright.
more tasteful clips, Pat.
Pat, I did send a more violent, not violent, but it is a little bit more balls to the wall clip in the Discord. If you do feel like seeing something a little bit more gnarly,
Save it for next week.
Gnarls Barkley.
it's up to you guys, Wade. Whatever you want to do. I feel satisfied with that clip, but if you want to go a little bit more crazy,
I'm satisfied.
I got you covered.
I got. Well, why not? Fuck it. It's Batman. We'll do
It's
two.
Batman.
It's
abrupt
Batman.
All right,
chaos.
you let me know when we're ready.
Abrupt
chaos.
chaos.
What is this?
All right, Nick, we're ready.
All right,
It's
there's
Christmas
no
time.
sound.
Oh
Oh my god. Okay, so this guy is charging his electric scooter and it caught on
Oh
fire.
my god.
Shirtless.
And he's just
in his
running around
underwear.
shirtless.
The Christmas
The
tree
Christmas
is going
tree
crazy.
is dangling.
Oh,
God.
no.
Oh no.
Oh my
Christ.
god.
What the fuck?
God, that just kept getting worse.
Oh my god.
Mike, this could be you.
It could be me.
Dude, open the door all the way.
Yeah,
What are you
push it
doing?
into the pool, buddy.
Oh Jesus.
Dude, this is a lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
That-
This is a malfunction.
Oh my god.
It's still going.
Oh my god.
Now,
Jesus
is he inside or outside at this point? I've
I
lost
think
track.
he's
still
inside.
inside.
Are you kidding me?
And the place is billowing with smoke.
Yeah, toxic like lithium battery
Yes.
smoke.
Yes.
Oh my god.
dear
Ooh, that
God.
one caught, didn't it?
Yeah.
Almost hit the tree.
Oh my god.
It's still burning.
Wow.
Ooh.
Let me see that again.
See, it just
Yeah,
explodes.
just explodes, and he's like, "What do I do?" He runs up to
This
it.
is
and-
this is
oh,
how
no.
Ellen had to get a new hip.
Holy shit.
He's like, all right, I'll grab one of my water jugs.
We go-
Oops.
Yep. No.
Oh
That's
no,
not
the
gonna
water
do it.
jug explodes.
The water jug explodes. Like, gee, and he's army crawling. He's like, all right,
Not on purpose.
let me get out to the back.
But let me just go
We'll
open
run
the
it-
door.
Let me just go run to the back.
And I'm gonna hang out inside still.
This is like when your smoke alarm's going off. Well, just crack a window.
Yeah. And then I guess he decides to run because that looks like his backyard. So I guess he just decides to run out the front door.
He's going to get his 3 dogs.
He's going to get his
three,
other-
his 3 handicapped dogs.
His other gallon of water for it to catch on fire.
The
I like
smoke-
this one spark that comes up that shoots behind like
Yeah.
the entertainment center
Yeah.
and catches all the wires on fire.
God,
Oh man,
what an
Wow.
What fantastic.
that's what I thought
Well
happened
done.
in here the day that transformer
Yeah.
exploded.
Well done.
Your electric scooter exploded.
Not exactly. All right, well, we did it, boys. We saw the Batman. We reviewed it. Our job is done here. Let's pack it in. Let's
It happened.
We'll close the website. Everything.
happened.
It's over.
This is what we built up towards.
Close to 20 hours watching the Batman.
Yeah, remember when it was a big deal that Pat saw Justice League Snyder Cut twice? This was longer than that.
It was longer, but this also wasn't in a matter of 2 days. This was from Tuesday
4
until
days,
yesterday.
And it was also better.
Great point.
With that being said, thanks so much. Like the video. Leave us a comment about what you think of Batman. Follow our social media. Anything, it's just at pressanykey.tv. Go to our website, pressanykey.tv, and for more. And we'll see you next week. What's